Hey everyone, it's me Doomlink and welcome back to this recording series. What is it again? It is Zelda Twilight Princess livestream playthrough, Japanese GameCube version. There we go. So we have a decent number of hearts here, but I actually want to get a few more, so what we're going to do at the beginning of this recording is collect some pieces of heart. It's a little bit of a slow way to start it off, but it is necessary, because I would rather do it before the next dungeon than after, because I feel like, you know, if I'm going to get more hearts, that is more heart containers, ultimately through gathering more pieces of heart, I'd rather reap the benefits of that in the next dungeon, rather than, well, the more dungeons we can reap the benefits through, the more worthwhile it is for us to be collecting the heart pieces in the first place. That's the way that I look at it. You can see that we have 2 mirror shards here so far. That is because in the previous video we took care of 2 dungeons in one recording, which is not exactly a huge deal. It's just it's the first time we've done it in either this recording series or Twilight Princess HD, the livestream playthrough. So there you go. I certainly will not be doing it this time around. That is to say, I will not be completing 2 dungeons in this recording, and the reason why is not just because there's a lot of lead up to the City in the Sky, but also because I'm going to be doing stuff before even making my way to the Temple of Time. So, yeah, that's going to be the situation. Lighting conditions are suboptimal, but hopefully consistent. The reason why they're suboptimal is because it is currently raining outside, which is good. It was basically pouring with torrential rain yesterday, and, well, more like last night as far as it being torrential, but it was raining most of yesterday as well. So there you go. I hope you've been enjoying more frequent uploads of Doomlink's Random Hunts. One of the reasons why is because my plan with that is to do less Doomlink's Live Hunts and more Doomlink's Random Hunts, the reason being that I'm usually in a foul mood when I'm recording Monster Hunter Live because of the people that I have to deal with. So I'm starting to get sick of presenting myself as some sort of moody asshole. So I think I'm going to be doing less of that. But anyway, it's just Monster Hunter while playing with random people live brings the worst out of me, you know. And it doesn't feel good for me. I mean, maybe it's entertaining for you, but not so much for me. Anyway, I'm going to get my chat organized. Hopefully everything's fine. If you can hear any background noise, that would probably be a garbage truck in my street. It's fairly early for the garbage truck to be coming in, especially on a rainy day, but seems to always happen when I'm recording. I believe it's part 6 for the series. I didn't even double check that. I just guessed that it was part 6. I hope it is. It is part 6. Well, I remembered that right, at least. I'm glad that I remembered that right. But yeah, let's go and get the chat up, shall we? What is playing? I do not need that anymore. The tab where I have the Oceanside and Spider House guide is still open, and it was actually playing the video. Okay. Let's go and get the chat up. I paused the playback on a very funny spot. I'm going like this. Anyway. So, of course I do have a beverage today. I'm actually getting this started a little sooner than I normally would. Normally I'd be starting this at about 10:30 or 11 o'clock in the morning, but now it's 10 in the morning, so that's good. The sooner the better, at least for my European audience, although this is probably already quite late for them. So, keyboard is still on my lap for a change. This is the longest this keyboard has sat on my lap at the beginning of a recording, I must say. The reason why my keyboard is usually in hand is because I'm often having to sync things up at the start of a recording, and that's a long story, but it's a requirement of OBS anyway. Can you go away, notification? Oh, okay. Mikael Zander just responded to me. It seems that he or she, I think it's a he, responds to my, or at the very least, comments on my YouTube videos right when I'm live, so it's quite funny. Anyway, beer today is going to be another Trappist beer. In fact, it's very interesting. It just randomly happened this way. But not only is this another Trappist beer, along with last recording's Orval, but it also has a similar glass design. You can see it's got the same stem. It's just the chalice part of the bowl, or the bowl chalice part, the bit that sits on the stem anyway, is a bit of a different design. It goes down further, so it gives the illusion of a shorter stem, but I believe the stem is the same length. It's just you can't hold it in the same way. It's not really comfortable to hold it like this, so I usually hold it like this, just in the hand, like you would a glass of this design. But I don't know why, but my internet just shut off. I believe that we will not be doing a different VOD. But yeah, that's a little bit annoying, isn't it? The internet shut off right in the middle of my explanation. Basically, I'm drinking Chimay today. It is another Trappist beer. And I will be starting with Chimay Rouge, just one bottle of that. And then I will be continuing with Chimay Bleu. Or Bleu. Bleu? I don't know. It's, you know, blue in French, whatever the hell that is. But, yes. Bleu is one of the best beers ever made, and it's been a little while since I've had Chimay on camera. I can't remember the last time. It might have been during a Skyward Sword recording, might have been during something else, I'm not sure, but has been a long time. Anyway, here's hoping that the recording is going smoothly. You know, it's always my concern as to whether or not the recording is going smoothly if I don't have much of an audience at the start, because that's not to say that I need an audience every time I go live. It's just nice to have reassurance that everything is being received on their end properly. So it's not to say that I'm not confident in my ability to set up a stream. It's more like the variables that are outside of my control, such as the connection to YouTube, which can sometimes be retarded, and also OBS doing weird things happens from time to time. But yeah, as I said, we're starting with Chimay Rouge, which is going to be a red labeled beer. As far as the labels themselves, they're probably the most nondescript labels of any Belgian beer you will find, at least when you look at them on the shelf compared to their counterparts. There's probably a reason as to why, but it's sort of it's a hidden gem in a sense, because, well, I shouldn't say most incredibly good beers have good labels, because that's not true. Like, for example, Weihen Stefano has a pretty average-looking label, but it's an amazing beer. Unless you knew it, you probably wouldn't assume it's one of the best German beers when you saw it on the shelf. That's why it's important to research your beers rather than select them based on the label. Here is the label itself. You can imagine that seeing this on a shelf is not going to inspire, it's not going to inspire you. It's not going to encourage you to consume it. Wow, that is a big head. I can see it already. Of course, the reason why it creates a weird... Are you kidding me? Torrential rain last night, raining right now, and the guy has his circular saw out. What a fucking moron. Anyway, the reason why the head often, I guess, looks weird because of the chroma key is because the light above me is shining on it, and it causes it to do weird things. But that is Chimay Rouge, and that is a very good beer as well. I probably prefer the taste of this one to blue, or bleu. I don't fucking know. I'll just call it blue and red. How about that? Because I'm not French. But yeah, there's a subtle sweetness to the red Chimay that I don't taste in the blue one, and that might be because I guess the booziness people refer to it as of blue might overshadow that a little bit, but I love the taste of both, let me make that clear. But I'm going to let the head settle for a little while. You can see that the design of the glass is such that it accommodates a large head, but I do want to let it settle. Okay, so we will, as I said, begin the recording with some hard piece collection. I think the first thing we're going to do, which is probably what I did at the end of Snow Peak in my HD playthrough, I'm actually going to immediately take care of the minigame at the top here with the wife of Yito, so it's Yeta, I think. I don't know if it's Yeta or Yeta. I'm assuming it's Yeta because, you know, Yeti, Yeti, Yeta, Yeto would be my guess. And that also makes sense in the Japanese. But I don't really understand why this guy feels the need to whip out the circular saw on a day like this. And quite frankly, I will give him this. It has been a while. Actually, yeah, I'm not going to be able to transform that close to them. But yeah, it has been a little while since Bob the Builder whipped out the old fucking circular saw. But I would like to, you know, whip it out and lower his head on it. But while it's turned on, obviously. Although we could make it a... Well, it wouldn't be a bloodier affair if I did that. That probably looks a bit weird, but my meaning is grab his head and move his neck from side to side and then have the sharpness of the blade do the work. Well, I suppose I'd be doing the work more than that. Anyway, ignore my morbidity, if that is a word. I think it is. Yeah, Bob is back at it. In fact, Potato's back at it. I haven't seen you here in a little while. Welcome back. I'm assuming you were engaging in, I don't know, holiday things over the Christmas period. Some people have been doing other things recently, which is quite fine. I wouldn't expect my video output to be more important than whatever people are doing over the Christmas period, but everyone has their own circumstances, I suppose. So we have to race this guy first. Previously, he was just going down there. We didn't even race him. It wasn't a confrontation. But this time it's a confrontation, and I may very well have already fucked it up. But I do know that it's very easy to do this. It's not complicated at all. It's not difficult, it's not challenging, except for the fact that I keep smashing into him. Oh, you fixed your sleep cycle so you can't stay up late anymore. I do remember that. I think that was the last thing you said in chat before. You don't want to mess up your sleep cycle just after having fixed it. What is going on? Oh, I understand what's happening. We're supposed to overtake him much sooner than this. Okay, so that's the reason why I wasn't having this issue last time I was racing this guy in the HD version. In reality... Ooh, yeah, in reality, we had almost immediately overtaken him, so we need to do that right now if we can. Bob the Builder is at it again. I mean, you would think that he would have fucking finished by now, wouldn't you? But the reality is that it's not really like that. Whoa. I am probably going to lose this race, purely for the fact that I have not fucked up once, not twice, but about 3 to 4 times. So if I could possibly... It really goes to show just how hard it is to fail this, because I well and truly should have messed that up. All it takes is fucking up about once, and you will not succeed against the wife, but here I am, going up against the husband, who is much less aerodynamic, clearly, or at the very least much less nimble. You win. Well, it doesn't even feel like much of an achievement, because obviously that guy is not good at what he does. So, yeah. I'm a little annoyed by the brightness of my room light, so what I'm going to do... It's kind of necessary for the chroma key, but it's too freaking bright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it back a little bit. Yeah, that's a lot better. Well, maybe not to your eyes, but to my eyes it is, and that's what's important. Okay, the head has settled a little bit on my beer. It's been a while. That's how you make a fucking beer. This is one of the first beer glasses I acquired, actually. It's getting on in age. The golden rim is a little bit chipped, I guess. Well, not chipped. Makes it sound like it's chipped glass. The glass is not chipped, I can assure you. If it was, that would be a concern. But, yeah. It's an older one. Hello, I'd like to race you. Do I have to go to the fucking top to do that? You're so annoying. I really have to go back up to the top. I can't even warp here. God damn it. I'm pretty sure I talked to her previously. and then it made me race him, so I'm guessing I have to go back up to the top and do that. Frustrating to say the least. I'm a little concerned by how much my bitrate is, like video bitrate is fluctuating. It's kind of crazy. Oh yes, let's transform here, because I'm assuming at least the wife is at the top right now. Can't transform in front of her. Alright, let me race you. You actually tried microwaved lager. That's disgusting. You say you almost puked immediately after? I would imagine so. In fact, I'm more surprised that you didn't actually puke. I'm surprised that it was an almost situation. Well, you definitely have more metal than I do, because I certainly wouldn't be drinking microwave lager just to see how bad it is, I can imagine. And that will do me just fine. My imagination will suffice when it comes to microwaved fucking lager. Anyway, to actually beat the wife, yes, I do mean physically assault. No, I didn't mean it that way. I mean, in terms of beating her in this competition, we do need to take a shortcut, which I believe, no, it's not there. We need to go a separate way to where we went in previous attempts. I don't know exactly where it is. I think we've already missed it. We've already missed it. She took the shortcut. If you do not take the shortcut, you will not win this race. See how she's ahead of us? I really have performed a lot worse this time around as compared to the HD version, I will not deny that. So she's ahead of us right now, and we are not going to be able to close the distance unless we're really fucking good, and we're not really fucking good, so yeah, definitely not at this point. It's actually harder to control this than you might think. But as I've said before, the Breath of the Wild snowboarding thing, for me, was really, really anticlimactic, because I was expecting something better than this, and it was actually worse, so there you go. Physically beating her might be another way to win this race, yes, that might be the case. You didn't puke because your stomach was empty when you drank it, so you fucking dry heaved, basically, and then you got over it. I can't actually believe that you did that. That's just unbelievable to me. Okay, so we need to use the mini-map as a guide to see where that shortcut is. I found it pretty clearly in the HD version. Maybe one of the reasons why was because the HD version was 16:9 ratio at a higher resolution. It wasn't as clear to me here in this version, so we may be ahead of her now, but unless we take that shortcut, she will get ahead of us. I don't know if crouching here allows us to go faster. I don't believe that it does. It probably makes us less maneuverable, so you would think that in turn it would make it harder. Or rather, it would have us move faster. I don't care, I don't need to go up there. All I need to do is make sure I'm hanging on this side. It seems we can make this jump. It looks as if we can't. I actually fell off. The reason why was because I was overcorrecting and ended up going straight off. You would understand the struggle if you were controlling this. Maybe it's actually harder to control it in the GameCube version, that is possible. Because I don't recall having as much difficulty in the HD version as far as moving myself is concerned. That's alright. By the way, the reason why we're doing this is to acquire a heart piece. This is going to be heart piece number 1 in this video as far as our collection is concerned. Our collecting of the heart pieces. Hey, gaming. Oh, fucking hell. Well, I've already lost, so I'm not that concerned, really. Yeah. Yeah. Just crawl over the finish line, you know. Okay. Let's try again. I'm having so much fun. It is now nighttime. We've spent so much time doing this. Nighttime in-game, that is to say. Alright. At least we know where to go now. The reason why I didn't go that way before, and I was looking out for an offshoot to the left, is because I thought it was too high. I didn't think we would make the jump up there if we tried to do it, so I was thinking, no, it mustn't be here, it must be further along, and then She took the path and we didn't, and then, yeah, we failed. And I'm referring to the first time. The second time I did try to go there and it failed entirely. I don't know if it's faster to go up the top there, probably is, but I'm not overly concerned. We will beat her as long as we get up here. I want to hang it right. I'm not concerned about the rupees, really couldn't care about them. What I do care about is getting on target here. Yeah, cut the corners. That's very good. Don't know if we want to stay up here. I'm assuming, well, this would be faster. Maybe a little riskier. Well, don't hit the fucking wall now. Don't fuck it up after you've done so well. Yeah. So the situation is, people who do this race and don't know about that shortcut will wonder why they keep losing every time. The idea is you need to look at the minimap and then follow where she goes to keep up with her. Well, it's funny you say you're trying out the monk class in Diablo 3 because I am drinking a beer made by Belgian monks. I do enjoy roguelike games, Potato. I just haven't played too many of them. The only games that I've played are The Binding of Isaac, and also the newer Binding of Isaac games. But I played Binding of Isaac, I think, in 2012. And I think it was around the first Halloween update when I picked up The Binding of Isaac, so like early 2012, something like that. And maybe late 2011 even. Yeah, no, excuse me, Halloween update? It was probably late 2011. Because I remembered in my head Halloween update, but then I didn't make the connection in my head that Halloween was in October. So, yeah, it wouldn't have been early 2012, and if it was, then it would have been several months after the Halloween update, I suppose. I don't know, it was a while ago, but I enjoyed that game very much. And, yeah, I never really got very good at it, but, yeah, it was fun. That's my only experience with roguelikes, really. Hades is an amazing roguelike if you ever decide to play another game in the genre. I will keep that in mind. We just got a piece of heart. How are we going for pieces of heart right now? We need another 2. So I guess, does that mean I'm going to get 7? That's, or a total of 8 in this recording. That sounds like a bit too much, but... Because I don't want to do all that work and only get 1 heart container. I want to at least get 2, so... I guess I've gone and forced myself to do that. That's one of the issues. One of the things about this game that some people don't like is the fact that you need to get 5 heart pieces to get a heart container. Oh, I can't warp here to go further up. But one direction we can go to for now, just while I'm thinking of it, is Kakariko Village. I believe we acquired 2 of 3 pieces of heart in the village itself. The other one I think requires the hookshot and bomb arrows, something like that. Maybe we could have acquired it much earlier on, but I just didn't because I'm lazy or something. Okay. So we'll go and equip bomb arrows. In fact, I don't know... Where do I get the bomb bags again? I think I get one from that not rowing game, well, I guess it's rowing game, isn't it? The boat game where you go down the rapids. But, yeah, there's that, and then there's another one. I'm not that concerned, really. Okay, so for now, we need the hookshot, most likely. And the bomb arrows. So, just up here there is a rock that we want to destroy. And I think that's going to reveal a piece of heart. There you go. And I think with the claw shot we can get it. If not the claw shot, then we will be able to do it with the Gale Boomerang, I think. Okay. Let's try the Gale Boomerang. The Gale Boomerang, I feel, is not often used. At least not by me. Maybe I could use it more often. But I just generally don't use it. Okay, next piece of heart is actually going to be going towards the Goron Mines, or at the very least, Goron Village. I don't know if it's Goron Village or Goron Mines, or if both exist. I know the Goron Mines is the name of dungeon number 2, but in terms of the location itself, I I don't think it's called the Goron Mines. I think it's probably called the Goron Village. It's not the Goron City. There is no city there. Now that I think about it, the Gorons don't really have much of a home at Death Mountain, do they? They don't have a big city area. I think it would have been nice for them to do that. As in the game designers, to design an actual city area. He can probably just throw us up. Well, it's alright, I'll just climb up. I can take care of myself, damn it. At least we won't have to avoid aggressive rolling Gorons. So the Goron just up here is the one we're going to want to talk to get that piece of heart. And I think this will give us a new heart container, won't it? Yeah, it will. Okay. How are you going? Why does he have gaps in his teeth? I've never understood that. Is it because his teeth are falling out because he eats rocks? I don't really get it. I don't know why it would be beneficial for them to have gaps in their teeth to eat rocks. So I can only assume that they've fallen out or something. Going back to Switch games after playing on 144 FPS on your PC feels very strange. Yes, I would imagine so. This is, I'm assuming, a howling statue that we have not gone to before. Unless I... Oh, I see, I'm being really stupid. I just used the Goron to go further up in the direction I normally would go to get to the Goron area. In fact, we want to use him to go onto a ledge. Can you not do that? I'm trying to roll. It's really odd that I just wasn't paying attention to what I was supposed to do there. Alright, get on him and go up here. There's a Poe up here. There we go. Let's go and say hello to the Poe. Good day. Once he comes down, we'll go and attack like that. It's very easy to get attacked, or rather get hit by that swinging maneuver he does. Are you kidding? Look where he fell into. He fell inside the cliff face. That was my attempt at an evasion maneuver. Alright, this time I really need you to not fall into the cliff face. Oh my god, this is ridiculous. Okay, let's go back. We need to transform. This is very, very frustrating. Even here. Fucking hell, man. Okay. Now, that should have all gone much more smoothly than it did, but we can't have everything in life, can we? Yes, let me up there, damn it. We need to be holding forward, I believe, to get the necessary momentum to get up here. I just like to take care of this Poe soul while I'm here, because as I said, I do intend to get 100% on this file at some point, just not while live. Are you kidding me? Okay, there we go. Can finally get this Poe soul, holy shit. Okay. Now we can transform into a human. It is starting to mess me up in other games, by the way, just this whole inverted axis on the analog stick, well, the C stick, I should say. Because, really, it's... When I play this game, it feels natural to do it, but it is starting to mess me up with other games, for sure. It's frustrating. I'd like an option to not have it be inverted, to be honest. Okay, so there's a... I don't think we want to go this way. This is, like, unnecessary. Yeah, not helpful. Don't know why I would even want to talk to you, kid. We want to drop down here. And there's a chest with a piece of heart in it, right in this spot. Excellent. And we have a new row of hearts. Let's make our way to Ordon Village, actually. We're going to go here. Hopefully we can find some grass to summon Epona. I believe there will be grass around here. But we need to take Epona to the goat herding area. And we can do the minigame there. And get a piece of heart. Well, it's more of a thing with older games, Potato. I just wish they would have given people the option. Because I understand that, you know, the game designers might think Oh yeah, people would prefer that, but not everyone prefers that. It's better to give people the option. Yeah, you're welcome to have it as the default, but if someone really doesn't like it and it's really unintuitive for them, then it would be nice to give them the option to change it to what they would prefer. Some people have very specific requirements when it comes to controls in a game. And it's only been in the last 10 years that people have been properly accommodated with those needs. On consoles, that is. On PC, it's always been quiet. Easy to pretty much do whatever you want in terms of button layouts and things like that. I'm actually surprised and shocked that some modern games have it. I'm assuming they would only be... Why would modern games have it? I guess I don't play enough modern games, so I assumed it wasn't a thing that still existed, but that's pretty crazy. Makes no sense to me. Alright, I don't know if we can actually do this at night. We might not be able to. I mean, you'd think this guy fucking sleeps eventually. Yeah, we can't do it at nighttime, which is annoying because the only way I can actually pass time is by going into Hyrule Field, I believe. I don't think time is going to pass in Farron Woods, so that's really frustrating. That probably means that what I want to do is get off you, warp to Hyrule Field. I guess here is where we want to go. Have time pass and then walk back to Farron Woods and then call Epona again. It's really annoying. I had a suspicion that we wouldn't be able to do it at night, but I thought I'd at least check. At least now I know. Not that I'm going to retain that information, but at least I sort of know. Well, I will retain the information, but it'll only stay in my head for like a year. And I'm not going to be playing this game in 12 months from now. More like 3 or 4 years from now. So, yeah. I will be recording this game again in the distant future. But... oh, is that a golden bug? Hello. That is a new one. That is a pill bug. A male pill bug, in fact. But yeah, I will be... all these games that I'm playing at the moment, I will, in the distant future on my channel, re-record. Well, not really re-record. That implies that I would want to do it over with the intention of overwriting whatever I have done here. The intention is rather just to return it after having taken an extended break from it. So, yeah. I don't know when that'll happen, but definitely in the distant future. Because I have a lot of stuff that I want to record. The game that I have recorded most frequently on my channel, that is, a game that I've recorded repeatedly, I guess other than Demon's Souls. Demon's Souls would be the one that I've recorded most. But, outside of games like Demon's Souls and Monster Hunter and things like that, that would be Dragon Quest Swords, because I did a Let's Play of that in 2015, and then I did a secondary Let's Play in late 2016, early 2017, that was a specific mode of the game. So I basically played it over twice on the channel, and then in 2019 I did a live stream playthrough of it. So there you go. And I could always do a live stream playthrough of Payback mode as well. That was the mode that I was talking about. But I'll need to wait a while for that, because I was really starting to feel it in my live stream playthrough of the game. I had played it way too much in a period of 5 years. I needed to stop, so... yeah, fun game though. But you need a break from it for a while. Hello, Hawk. You can't wait for that 20th anniversary of the Monster Hunter Tri recording, yeah. Or 20th anniversary of Tri, and the recording form of that. It will happen. And it will be very, very strange, because, you know, the thought of that being 20 years ago when I would have played Tri. Wow. I still need Epona. Why am I dismounting? What the hell? But yeah, that's going to be a really weird day when it's been 20 years since I played Try. Wow. 20 years of monster hunting. I'm sure I'm going to be such an alien to the modern Monster Hunter community at that point. Imagine how Monster Hunter is going to evolve in the next 10 years. So in 2029, I'm just going to be sitting there, or 2030, I guess. In 2030, I'm just going to be sitting there going, wow, remember when Monster Hunter was this? Well, now it's really not, but it doesn't matter to me because I'm not playing it anymore anyway. That's most likely how it's going to go. Alright, let's go and talk to the guy, wherever he may be. There he is. We don't want to get the goats in just yet. Alright. I will help you out. Yaru. Which means I'll do it. Okay, so we are on a timer here. In order to get the piece of heart, we have to do it within a specific time. Get in! I'm so entertained by that. You have to understand that I grew up with Goat In. And it's such a shift in my paradigm to actually see that it was originally Get In instead of Goat In. Auru! Auru! Which I suppose is Japanese for whoop. Or at least or to yell with the intention of coaxing an animal, I guess. I don't know. Auru! Not that way. I'm definitely not going to do this in the right amount of time. I suck at this, by the way. If I suck at it in-game, imagine in real life. Get in there. Get in. I mean, that's pretty much the sentiment, isn't it? Get in. Get in. You guys are frickin' talking, and I'm very focused on getting the goats in, so... I think it has to be done in 2 minutes. I have not done this in 2 minutes. I could try. I mean, maybe I'm very close. Get in. We need 3. There we go. Come on, guys. My fear is whooping them too much. Go. I was close anyway. I will do it once more after this. And if I still haven't succeeded, then I'll just forego the piece of heart. I hope it's 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes. I mean, seriously, I just want to do it and then succeed. That's what I desire. Can you just fucking get in there? What the fuck is wrong with you, you stupid creature? Fucking Ordon goats. What concerns me is that Ordon cheese has a very similar design to the Ordon goat horns, which makes me wonder what the origin of the cheese is. It's probably goat cheese, but you know, it's a bit odd that they make it look like the horns. Get the fuck in there, you damn goat. 242. I'm guessing I did not get the piece of heart in that time. Okay, I'm happy. Thanks. At least I didn't waste my time. I'm happy. This is probably the moment in which you can see the heart piece model more closely than any other time in the game, because we're on horseback, and in that situation we are sort of zoomed in much closer than we normally would be, so you can see the heart piece model right there. It looks really beautiful. Amazing. In my opinion, even by today's standards, which you couldn't really say, in 2006, you wouldn't have been able to say that 15 years ago graphics looked amazing. No, but this game's from 2006, ladies and gentlemen. And it looks great, so it's almost 2021. Can you fucking believe that? I can't. It's blowing my mind. Anyway, here we go. You guys have a lot to say. You bought Age of Calamity. This is a bit of a sore topic for Potato. I don't think he dislikes the game, he just hates the way in which it was advertised. Yeah, I would say most Monster Hunter players in 2030 won't even know of Tri's existence. No, well, to be honest, I think with time, more people will understand the origins of Monster Hunter, but they're not going to understand the significance of Tri, because Tri was really the game that brought Monster Hunter out of the primitive stages of Monster Hunter. So, yeah, which didn't sit well with all people. Some people felt that it had become too polished, which is funny because it did retain the rigidity of Monster Hunter, but just made it more sensible. You know, people complain about how things were made more easy, but they weren't, in actual fact. There were certain things that you could abuse in first and second generation Monster Hunter that you could no longer abuse in third generation. For example, diminishing returns were introduced, blights were introduced, you know, all of these, and when I say diminishing returns, I mean in relation to things like flash bombs and traps, that didn't exist before that point. So, just because the game is less messy, and therefore you can kill the monsters more easily because they're not as messy, it doesn't mean that the game's gone backwards or it's worse, it's just, you know, it's not as much of a fucking mess. Oh, okay. When we are here, we cannot walk out, we have to go over this way. But yeah, I've talked about it before, but I did actually meet a guy who thinks that second generation Monster Hunter is too easy compared to first generation. Now, I'm not going to go into details about this, but you have to understand that the reason why it's easier is because when you get used to first generation Monster Hunter, which is so messy, that you're fighting the game more than you're fighting the monster. Of course, when they iron out most of those fundamental flaws, the game's going to be easier for you. Now, if you prefer a broken game because it's harder, good for you, but yeah. And to a lesser extent, that was the situation for the people who didn't like third generation Monster Hunter who enjoyed second gen. They preferred a more broken version of Monster Hunter, a more primitive and less intuitive version of Monster Hunter. I love second generation, let me make that very clear, but third generation was the purest expression of Monster Hunter, in my opinion. Oh. Hawk knows someone who thought Monster Hunter was a Dauntless clone, which is a bit pathetic. Yes, technically Dauntless did come out before World, but it was my understanding that everyone who was playing Dauntless at the time was aware of World coming very soon, and was also aware that World had been in production before Dauntless. So, yeah. In fact, all the people that I knew who were playing Dauntless when it came out were playing it to tide themselves over in anticipation for World's release. So, that's really the only purpose that Dauntless served. When less people were playing Dauntless after World's release, that was the reason why. It's because people were looking to scratch a Monster Hunter itch that they were wanting to scratch through World, but Dauntless came out and that scratched their itch for a short time. And then once World came out, why play Dauntless? Some people returned to Dauntless, because apparently it had some good updates, but for the most part, that was the purpose it served when it released. So, yeah. I know for a fact that 90% of Dark Souls 3 players that say they play Demon Souls likely haven't played Demon Souls, not counting the remake. Well, yeah, I'm sure they were saying that before the remake released. The thing is, you can say you've played a game when you've only watched video content of the game, because you know what goes on in the game, so you can obviously give people the impression that you have played it because you have knowledge of it. But I don't know what anyone would have to gain through doing that. Maybe they'd feel better about themselves, but I don't know. I never really faulted people for not playing Demon Souls, because it was PS3 exclusive. What was particularly not okay was the fact that no one played the first Dark Souls game until it got a remaster. That thing was on both of the consoles that were out at the time, well, the two main consoles of the time, which were PS3 and Xbox 360 plus PC. There was no fucking excuse not to play it. The reason why people didn't play it was because they're lazy, or because they were lazy, and didn't really give a shit either way. So there you go. They don't care about a series, they care about the newest game, and they enjoy the newest game. That's how it works. Not to rant, though. That's one of the well, what Hawk just said there, about how people brag about playing the games and then don't know who Fatalis is, that's one of the reasons why I say that world players do not deserve Fatalis. Fatalis should be for the older players. In fact, I was sort of along the lines, not strongly, but I was sort of along the lines of saying that people who played 4th generation didn't deserve Fatalis, but the desire to see a 4th generation Fatalis completely overrode that feeling within me. But by the time we're hitting World, God, they don't fucking deserve it. Fatalis should be an old world Monster Hunter sort of thing. Okay, now let's actually get focused on heart piece collecting. I fear for any person watching this who doesn't play Monster Hunter, I'll tell you what. Okay. Or I guess I feel for any person. I do fear for them, in the sense that they might click away, but... Kakariko Village, there's a Blow Up the Boulder near Elden Spring, and we've already acquired that one. Yeah. Already acquired that one. Acquired that one. That's another one to get. Let's head back to Kakariko. I'm actually surprised that I didn't think to get this before. It's kind of crazy. Oh, I can donate rupees to Charlo, who is an old man in Castle Town. If I give him 1,000 rupees, he gives me a piece of heart. Well, I believe I can hold 1,000 right now. And how many golden bugs do I have on me that haven't been turned over to her? Ooh, 3. So I'd be able to get 200 rupees. But that's obviously not sufficient, so I won't worry about that right now. Oh, for fuck's sake. Stop doing that. Go over here. God damn you. Fatalis is in Rise. Why do they keep putting him in these games? Stop it. Anyway. Hello, Mikkel. I saw your comment, but I didn't read it. I'll read it right now. How about that? Because then I can actually respond to it verbally. Let's give it a read. Thanks for answering me. I like so much being able to interact with you, even though I'm a bit sad that I won't be able to get the information all at once from you, which I would have found way cooler than watching old Monster Hunter video tutorials. I get your point. I'll keep enjoying the content you bring on the channel. See you in the next live stream. Well, that's happening now. As long as it's not too late here in Italy. Well, clearly it's not. Because I was pretty much, when you wrote that comment, I went live, so it's kind of funny. But, yeah. Hello, Tonya Tickle Titties. You've got a very interesting name. I don't dislike World's version of Fatalis. It's the very concept of World having Fatalis that I'm concerned with. I don't know anything about World Fatalis. The reason why is because I haven't played World in over a year, since before Iceborne released. And that's a very long story in and of itself. The reason why traditional Monster Hunter players, well rather the reason why World players don't deserve Fatalis is because they have no understanding nor desire to understand what Fatalis is in the context of this series. They don't know, they don't care, and they never will care. So they don't deserve Fatalis. To them, it's just another monster to hunt in this fucking hollow game with... They're just people who are hungry for more content. Give me more things to hunt so that I can legitimize the time that I've spent in this game. Like, that's all it means to them. Whereas, for actual Monster Hunter players, it would mean, wow, we can see how Fatalis has evolved. How has he changed? How's the fight going to take place? Well, none of that exists in the mind of a world player. Not only do they have no way of knowing, really, how Fatalis would have changed in world, they don't give a shit. It's the not giving a shit factor that pisses me off. And that's one of the reasons why world players can go and fuck themselves, because the vast majority of them do not care about where it all came from. Now, that's not a blanket statement to say that any person who plays World doesn't give a shit. It's not true. Of course there are outliers, but generally speaking, in terms of looking at the largest percentage of people playing the game that have a certain attitude, that attitude is, this is the only relevant game. Why would I care about anything else? It's not even a matter of why would I care about anything else. They don't even know that there are older games. They don't even know that it's a series. There's just so much ignorance that... It's not even active ignorance, it's passive ignorance that I'm actively frustrated about. But anyways, it is what it is. I'm sure it's a good fight. I don't think that they would have bothered to bring Fatalis to World if they weren't willing to make it a good fight. But, fuck off. It started with the 15th anniversary of Monster Hunter and all the advertising that went along with that. They had, you know, the Black Dragon and Fatalis. The reason why Fatalis is relevant at the 15th anniversary is because he was the king of the older dragons who appeared in Monster Hunter 1. Now, who the fuck cares about that that's playing World? That came out in 2004. Half these people weren't fucking born. For the love of God. As if they fucking care. Anyway, I shouldn't say half of these people weren't born. It's not to say that Monster Hunter World has such a young demographic, but the point is that, you know, they don't care about the history of Monster Hunter, so they don't deserve a monster like Fatalis. That's not to say they don't deserve to play a new Monster Hunter game. It's just that particular monster is not something they should be fighting. It's not something they should have. I kind of felt that way with Elatrion, but it's times 3 or times 4. It's like fourfold that sentiment when it comes to Fatalis. Yeah, Morales would be the underwater Fatalis. Good on Miraus. Alright, so we are making our way to another piece of heart here. I usually don't have my non-Monster Hunter recordings be so Monster Hunter focused, but I don't know. I guess I'm in the mood at the moment. I could have claw-shotted to that, or claw-shot to that. Shotted is just a terrible word, no matter how you would use it. Not recommended. The piece of heart is just over here. As I recall from the HD version that I played somewhat recently. But I must always stress that the HD version was not my first experience, obviously. I grew up with this game. Okay. 3 more to go. Yeah, 3 Ultimate did not have Fatalis. But it did have Diamorales, which was basically the 3rd generation Fatalis. It is time for Chimay Bleu. Or Bleu. Bleu? Bleu? I'm not fucking French, leave me alone. So we led into this with a lighter beer. I mean, it's not that light. What is it? It's like 8%, I think. This is 7% ABV. Or ALC, as they say in Europe, apparently. ABV is alcohol by volume, whereas ALC here is obviously alcohol, but shortened. It's not an acronym. But this one is, I think, 10%. Is that right? 9%. Of course, my favorite Trappistenbier is Trappist Rochefort. 10. But I do love this as well. Trappist Rochefort 10 is 11% ABV. Okay. I can actually get a side-by-side comparison to Chimère Rouge. And I actually prefer the taste of this one. That's interesting. That's so strange to see. You see how it says 2020 on the bottle? I've just come to realise that I've never seen that before. I've only ever seen 2018 or 2019 written there. And 2017. Anyway. With that, we will make our way to the next piece of heart. Alantrion is technically the third generation Fatalis in the sense that he's the big Elder Dragon. He was definitely a Fatalis equivalent, but he wasn't. He was more the in terms of the fight itself, in terms of what you experienced, Fatalis was the third generation version of the 3 Elder Dragons that you would fight in second generation. Well, I shouldn't say the 3. I mean, you did have the big 3, which were Teostra, Kushala Daora, and Chameleos, but Chameleos was the outlier there. The 2 Elder Dragons that were very similar were Kushala Daora and Teostra. You will notice with you will notice with Alantrion that he is basically Teostra and Kushala mixed into one, with even more going on. So, in terms of the fight, he was intended to be the third generation version of those Elder Dragons. In the sense that he was the big final boss, I guess he was a Fatalis equivalent, but again, not in terms of the hunt. In terms of the hunt, Morales was the Fatalis equivalent, so that's how that worked. And Jen Moran is also a great hunt, I love him. And I loved Darren Moran, I thought he was awesome. Okay. So, oh, there is a piece of heart at Henna's fishing hole that we might acquire. I feel bad because what ends up happening is that you pay to fish at Henna's fishing hole, and you go there, and if you just want the piece of heart, you don't really bother with the fish, like why would you? So you end up rowing to the piece of heart, and then you get the piece of heart, and then you just cancel everything. You're like, I'm done. And she's probably like, what, already? But, you know, shouldn't be an issue for her, I've paid. Okay, so we acquired the piece of heart at the Isle of Riches. I didn't even know it had a specific name. Apparently it's called the Isle of Riches. It's where you take the Kuko flying game. Lake Hylia Cavern. In the southern portion of Lake Hylia is a ladder. I hate that sentence. It should be, in the southern portion of Lake Hylia, there is a ladder. Comma, there is a ladder. It would just read better. But Zelda dungeon for you. Climb up and blow up the boulder to the south to reveal the cavern. Inside you will need your lantern to see through the darkness, as well as bombs to clear boulders in the way. At the end of the lengthy cavern, you will finally come to a large chest containing a piece of heart. I remember that one, yeah. That is lengthy, it is true, that's an apt description. Okay, so let's go to Henna's fishing hole first. I will equip something else here because it's bothering me that it's empty. I guess I'll put you there. Let's go and warp to... No, don't do that. What happens is that it doesn't let you go down in the options for like a full second, so I end up hitting down on my analog stick and then I press A and then I'm like, no! Anyway. There we go. Ugh. I hope they... Well... I think the time has passed for Yamatsukami to enter the fold again. Because I would say, again, Rise players don't deserve Yama. I would much prefer if they just fucking... Because most people, okay... A much larger percentage of people playing 4th generation Monster Hunter had played 2nd gen. Almost no one playing 5th gen has played 2nd gen, so, you know... The people who deserve to fight the monster are the people who can actually appreciate the evolution. That's what I mean to say. I would much prefer it if they didn't bring Yama back. Yama Tsukami should remain in 2nd gen. And in the side games. Look at that dive. That is a fucking Olympic dive right there. I believe there's a warp point just out the front of Henna's fishing hole, but I still haven't found it yet, so let's try to find it if we can. Yeah. That is exactly right, Potato. SOS sounded like a great idea, and then once we experienced it, we realized just how bad it was. Definitely good for getting into hunts that you want to get into immediately, but in terms of interaction with players, just awful. Doesn't get much worse. So, I definitely agree with you on that one. SOS was an exciting new idea for me. Let me make it very clear that while I hate World at the moment, and have hated it for well over a year, probably since like 3 months into its release, I hated World, I was very open and excited to play it at the time. So, yeah, it's one of those things. So if I roll around here, I should be able to find a warp point. There definitely is one. Okay, it's over there, I think. That would make sense to me. Henna's fishing hole is just behind me, but for the moment, I'm going to try and get that warp point, because I'm sick of having to swim all the way here. It should be on this side. Okay, I'm going to need the Zora tunic for this. I actually don't even remember unequipping the Zora tunic, but I must have at some point. Alright, we have to swim against the current, which is possible because we've got flippers on. Yeah. I'm a Zora. I've got flippers. Anyway, let's go and take that off again. The reason why I take off the Zora tunic is because I like to look like traditional Link. That's my preference. Where is the fucking warp point? I know it's here. You can't convince me that it's not. Okay, that's weird perspective. Okay, fine. I won't have a warp point here, if that makes you happy, game. Does that make you happy? Let's go over here. There really isn't a warp point here, okay. I remember there being one. Maybe they added one in the HD version. It's possible. Would have made sense, because if you think about it, it's always more effort than really should be employed to get here every time you want to come here. But maybe in the HD version they gave us an extra warp point. And I had just forgotten that there was no warp point here in the original game, it's possible. Or maybe this is a difference between the Japanese version and the other versions. No fucking idea. I don't know about an open world Monster Hunter game. That sounds very interesting. I think that would be the best way to give Monster Hunter a fresh new feeling. I think that would be really cool. Because then it really feels like you're hunting monsters. You're out in the wild with them. And I think that would be really cool. But I don't think they'll ever do that. They would rather make Monster Hunter games that are kind of based on gimmicks rather than evolution. I don't know if it's necessary for you to have such wide eyes, Link. I don't think it's that amazing. Alright. I'm agreeing to go with you on a fishing tour, because I want a fucking piece of art. That's the only reason why I'm doing this. Alright, so the piece of heart is just over here. You don't have to go with her, by the way. You can always choose an option that allows you to go on your own. But it is better to have her with you if you're actually intending on catching fish. No, that's a bit off target. Can I jump you over there? No, let's not do that. Trying to get you on target in the first instance. There we go, that's looking pretty good. Hey, look at that. Doesn't get better than that. That's actually also a pretty good... If you wanted to do a screenshot of the model of the piece of heart, that would be another good one. Probably better than the previous one. I want to quit. So what do we got here? So the top one means I'm going to continue as we are. This one is... And that's Yameru, which means quit. Okay. I'm glad I understand Japanese, at least at a basic level. Okay. Whoa. I'm actually really shocked that Mikkel prefers Lao to Jen. That's kind of shocking. I mean, everyone has their own opinion for sure, but I couldn't disagree with that more. I think Jen is a more vibrant experience for the reason that it's more interesting to fight. Just the very concept of it, the idea of fighting a giant sand whale and the way it jumps over the ship, it's just... You get on the back and you do stuff on the back, whereas if you get on Lao Shanlung's back, you're just sort of standing there like a dickhead. And, you know, there's less going on with the Lao Shanlung fight. And definitely, they are comparable to one another, but I would say Jen is just the better one. So, I don't know why Mikkel would feel that way, but definitely opinions are opinions, and I wouldn't say there is such a thing as a wrong opinion, because they can be very varied. Okay, so with that... Where do we want to head next? I think I had another one in mind. That's right, it was at Lake Hylia. For fuck's sake, who am I near? This fucking girl all the way over there is going to see me and be like, oh my god! Fuck off, lady. Can I walk now? Thank you. So let's go to Lake Hylia. We want to go here. Apparently there is a cave that we can access. Thanks for letting us know, Corbin. But yeah, Breath of the Wild, not really my thing either. If that is the sentiment. Why am I warping here? This is not where I wanted to warp. I must have thought this was Lake Hylia. What? Oh, I see. Yeah. I thought this was Lake Hylia for some reason. This is Lake Hylia. It's a bit awkward, isn't it? I think Breath of the Wild is alright, but... As far as open-world sandbox games go, I don't think it's particularly better than any other one. It was at the right place at the right time, and it managed to acquire a great deal of attention and appreciation, which is fine. Just not fine in the sense that it sets a nasty precedent for the Zelda series. Again, a lot of people who played Breath of the Wild, not everyone, but definitely a percentage of people who played Breath of the Wild couldn't give a damn about the Zelda series, and probably wouldn't give a damn if the series itself died in favour of what Breath of the Wild changed. It's just a reality of modern gaming, I guess. I don't know if it's over here that we want to go, but let's head this way. Actually, let's make sure that we are going the right way. I don't want to fuck this up. So, in the southern portion... Well, this is clearly not the southern portion. I'm heading to the eastern portion. Let's head further south. So in the southern portion of Lake Hylia, there is a ladder. We need to find a ladder to the south. My guess is that it's the far southern portion. I hope. Here's hoping that Zelda Dungeon isn't just being terrible with its descriptions, as it usually is. I mean, sometimes Zelda Dungeon's descriptions leave a lot to be desired. So my hope is that this is not one of those times. I can only hope. Okay, so we're looking for a ladder. My guess is that the southern portion would be just over here. In fact, I can see an opening. You might not be able to see it, but you can see a slight gap. If you look at the southernmost part of that mini-map, you'll see a slight gap, and that indicates that there is actually an entrance into another area. You'd have to really have your eyes peeled to notice that one. But there should be a ladder around here, and I feel like we've fought this Poe before, but just in case we haven't, I'm going to take him on. Maybe we fought him in the HD version. Maybe that's what I'm remembering. Because again, I did do the 2 recordings back-to-back. Or the recording series back-to-back, so... Seems like a new Poe soul. I'm assuming it wouldn't properly give us the soul if we had acquired it in the past. That is to say, it wouldn't give us a little scene for the acquisition. The thing with open world is that it's only been fairly recently that open world has been something game designers could fully realize. The problem with open world is that it does require a level of work in game design that most companies are not willing to engage with. Those who give it a try who are not willing to put the work in end up giving gamers a hollow game. It's large at first blush, and then you actually play it and it's like, wow. Yeah, okay, it's large, but it's the same shit over and over and over again, so why would I bother? It's now becoming the norm to put a lot of effort into game design. The level of effort that would lead one to have a vibrant open world scenario for people to explore. And probably the thing that prompted it would have been Skyrim. I think that level of popularization in the Elder Scrolls series probably really sparked that in the community. How do I get up there? I mean, I understand that... Listen, the description that has been given to me is, in the southern part of Lake Hylia there is a ladder. I don't know, man, but I'm here. I guess it's not the southernmost portion? What a fucking joke. I hate Zelda dungeons so much. Give me a better description than that. That must be the ladder. Okay, fine. It is technically the southern portion, so I won't get too upset. Open world games are about as difficult to do well as MMOs. You know how everyone complains that there is no such thing as a good MMORPG? MMORPG, there we go. Sort of tripped on my words there, but yeah, everyone complains that there is no good MMORPG. The way it works is that there's always something that someone doesn't like. You can never please everyone with an MMORPG. It's kind of the same with an open world game. Not quite as badly, there's not as much to do wrong, but it's still kind of a nightmare. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to look at the screenshot that is on Zelda Dungeon to see where I actually want to go in this map to get to the Piece of Heart. Why is the screenshot so small? I can only assume that this screenshot was made in 2016, and why it's so low resolution I've got no fucking idea. Okay. So, from here... Let's get the lantern out. I should have enough lantern oil to get my way through here. I'll just go in all the directions that allow me to get to where I want to go. What? Oh, here we go. So we want to bomb this. Okay, I was thinking, what? I'm apparently able to go this way. Oh, whoops. We want to equip you there. We want to equip you there. Yeah, I was thinking, I'm apparently able to go right here, but there is no way to go. Actually, there is. I just need to blow up the fucking rock. Open your eyes, Doomlink. Okay, so we're continuing down here. Hello. If I wanted more lantern oil, I could kill you. But I don't really feel the need. Actually, I don't want to go that way. Or do I? I do, actually. Ow. I'm just gonna roll past you guys, I don't really care about you. Ow. That lingered a bit. Hey, there's a Poe in here. That's good, I can take care of this Poe. 2 birds with 1 stone. Again, just for clarification, I'm not intending on getting all Poe souls in this series. But as far as this save file is concerned, yes, I do want to eventually get all post souls. Come on. Okay, get your lantern out, light that. I think we want to go up. Yes, we want to go up. I'm hoping we have enough bombs to get through here. We don't really... If we actually run out of bombs, we're going to have a problem. But I think we'll be alright. Given the fact that we have gone the right way, or we rather know which way is the right way, I think we don't have to worry about running out of bombs. If we didn't know the right way to go, we definitely wouldn't have had enough bombs to get through here. Unless I just happened to go the right way, which I would very much doubt that I'd be capable of doing. Okay, there's a BMOS here. I would like to destroy you, actually, because I don't like BMOS. I've just lost my light. Oh, fucking stop. Just stop. Get ready. Just shit. Stop. Stop! I hate the effective range of these fucking things. Turn around, do it, do it, do it. No! Do you guys realize how fucking fast I have to be to aim on this thing? They turn so fucking quickly. Oh my god. I know it doesn't look like that much of a difficult process, but it is. Okay. You're fucking dead. Now I'm happy. Now I don't have to get upset. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. MMORPGs are... I feel like it's too ambitious to try to make an MMORPG until maybe right now. Anything before this point is a bit too ambitious. The reason why they do it is because people will gravitate towards it, because people want a good MMORPG. But it really is a time-consuming and expensive venture for the developers, and I suppose the general design of an MMORPG is enough to satisfy the average gamer, but it is missing something, usually. Every MMORPG is missing something. That is everyone's dream, isn't it? To have the perfect MMORPG. I don't think we want to go that way. Shit! I fucked it up. I wanted to actually blow this one up. I've got one bomb left. Can we get to where we want to go? I think we can. I think we can. I was worried about running out of bombs, and here I am doing that. What? This is not where I want to go. Oh no. Oh, I don't have the bombs for this. Okay. Where can I get more bombs? This is really frustrating. Okay. We'll have to leave. I know how to get to where I'm supposed to go, but it is going to require a few bombs, and I need more than one, so don't do that. We need to go and get some. How many bottles do I have? What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to get some of that lantern oil that I passed previously. It's starting to not look like such a stupid idea. Just fucking pick it up, damn. I'm not going to fill it up yet, because that will fully restore our lantern oil when we run out. So I'll save that for later, once we do run out of oil. I don't know how we actually light it. I'm sure we have something that can produce the flame, but yeah. Maybe it's a magic lantern. Is it too bright? No, it's alright. It's not too bad. Oh, I remember Hunter Blade. When A Gaming mentions the Chinese knockoff Monster Hunter, he's talking about Hunter Blade. When that came out, that was an ultra meme. Ultra meme. In the Monster Hunter community. That was like 2012, 2013, something like that. Something like that. It was bad. really bad. Anyway, what are we doing? Let's go to Barnes Bombs and buy some more water bombs. At least that way, I mean, we've got plenty of money. At least that way we can actually get them as soon as possible. If I went around looking for chests to gather bombs, I mean, we're going to be there all day trying to find them. So let's just go to Kakariko Village and get ourselves the bombs we need. I don't know if Barnes Bombs is open at night. Milo Mart apparently isn't, so maybe Barnes Bombs is. I've got no idea. Given that there is light over here, I would guess that there is a good chance that he is open. Yeah. Okay. No, not 5. Fuck. I want more than that. I think we can get 10. I don't mind. Ko. Stop! Ko means buy. Or acquire through... It's interesting because when you're looking at a different language, you can find the origin of words, and they have different meanings. Like, buy means... I guess buy means acquire, but through offering something in exchange. But that's kind of what ko is. Ko. Sort of like purchase using something in exchange for the product. Anyway, I've got an itchy eye. It's just, you don't really think about that with a word like buy, because if you grew up with the English language, you just know what buy means, and it's not a big deal. But when you're looking at another language, you think of these words in those terms. So, it's interesting. Alright, now we can return to that cave. We don't have to worry about those fucking walls just repairing themselves. That's not going to happen. Our current progression through that cave is going to be the same as it was when we were previously there. So, it's kind of amazing that I'm spending this much time before getting to the dungeon. I mean, we're an hour and 20 minutes in, and I haven't even begun going to the dungeon. So this is going to be a long recording. I hope you guys are ready for this. I'm quite ready. Yeah, Black Desert Online is something I was meaning to play at some point, but I never got around to it. Around the time it came out, I was wanting to play it, but I decided not to for some reason. And then it got heavily discounted, and I was like, shit, I should get it. But it didn't happen. I think part of it is because I'm afraid of the time sink. I don't want to give so much of my time to a video game these days. Whoa, I didn't even see that, and I managed to walk across it without issue. It was that small boardwalk, but it's made of metal rather than wood. So it's not really a boardwalk. I just say boardwalk because it gives you the right mental image. Alright, let's go like these. This might give us a chest, you never know. Yeah? I don't know what we will acquire here, but I'm guessing it's rupees, probably 50 rupees or something. I would be happy to take them after purchasing all those bombs. Come on. Yeah, 100 rupees, even better than I expected. That is good to see. Okay, so I believe we want to go up from here. No, actually. Not up from here. We want to go this way. Let's go fill our lantern. Perfect. Drop you right here. Of course, the reason why I use water bombs, even though I can't hold as many as regular bombs, is because I would like to have the ability to use bombs underwater. If I've only got one bomb bag, it's going to be water bombs. Has to be. Alright. Excuse me. I'm a little concerned by this. Let's take a risk and go this way. The risk would be time wasting. It's not like we're actually going to suffer, ultimately, through doing this, but... No! I didn't realize that there was something like this in this game. I thought that was like a Wind Waker thing, where you walk to the light and then you're beamed up like fucking Star Trek. But apparently it exists in this game too. What the fuck is going on? How annoying is that? It's a shortcut out if you want to get out, I guess, but... You want to know something that I haven't shown you guys since my 2015 Let's Play of the European version of Twilight Princess? The Cave of Ordeals. I'm not going to be doing that here, I'll tell you that much. But I was reminded of the Cave of Ordeals because there is a similar thing in Wind Waker where you know, you're given, as you go through the levels of... Oh, let's go across this without falling off. But as you go through the levels of the area underneath the stone head at Outset Island in Wind Waker, you have light shining down that you can use to leave, but if you do leave, you don't return to the place that you reached. It's not like a checkpoint that you can return to. You'll end up going through that light and then having to do it all over again. So the key is not to go to that light. It's like the worst thing you can do. This reminded me of that. Okay, so we want to go to the west. What is this thing? Is it a Dynaflow? Like, what is it? It's a fucking lizard thing. I think it's a Dynaflow. I say that because, you know, when I say Dynaflow, I imagine in my head the Dynaflows from Ocarina of Time. They look so different, but, you know... With each iteration of Zelda, a monster can change its appearance quite a lot. Or an enemy can change its appearance. It will have the same name, but it can change quite considerably. Okay, so with that, I think we're going up. Yeah, we're going up. Why do I have the bow equipped? What the fuck is going on? Oh, that's because God, I'm stupid. I was attacking the beamers, that's why. I had done it so subconsciously that I was like, why do I have a bow equipped? Yeah, well, it's because I needed to have it equipped, idiot. Alright. Whoa. I'm not attacking these things because I want to save myself the time. Although I would like to kill you. Yeah, these guys have such low health that you can go into a finishing move immediately with them, if you target them. Oh god. See how much their outward attacks linger? It's so annoying. I do have soup to consume, which I will consume very soon. I see another Poe in the distance. This is a long way to go just for a fucking piece of heart, let me tell you that much. At least I'm taking care of it now, rather than in the future. Get my chat up again. I suppose the people who want to pretend that it's not pay to win are the people who are in denial to try and justify their purchases, I don't know. Or to try to give the illusion to themselves that they have freedom of choice when it comes to their payments. When in actual fact, if they didn't make their payments, they wouldn't be able to enjoy the game at all. But they decide in their heads that, well, it's my choice to pay, so I will reap the benefits, you know. But actually, if they didn't, it would probably be miserable. That's the idea. It's kind of, it's a typical thing that you would encounter. Okay, so we want to go down, I believe. That will take us to the lower level that we were previously. Oh my goodness. I'd much prefer if this were a faster process, but it's not, so I can only... Oh. No, this links to... We want to go... Yeah, here we go. So see how this is a different area to where we were before. Get away from that fire. Excellent. Okay. And now we're going down. If we... what? Yeah, we want to go down. It's so confusing. What the fuck? So if we go down, it's not actually going to link up to that other direction that's going up. It's going to be a separate direction. Check this out. For fuck's sake. Oh, don't do that. So this... Stop! Don't let this key fucking throw you off. That would be a serious problem. I don't know where it would send you... I don't know where it would send you to... Stop! I don't know where it would send you to, but if it's at the beginning, it would suck. Stop! There should be a piece of heart here. Stop! Get up and kill them. Die. Get out. You fucking nuisance. Okay. We should not have done all this for a Poe. I believe there is a piece of heart right here. Let's open this up and then we'll fight the Poe. Because I believe this should be the piece of heart. It's fucking... There's 2 Poes in here. You have no choice but to go through here if you're trying to 100%. Okay. So with that, let's go fight this Poe. We're now done with this area once we've killed this Poe. So... Thank God for that. Ugh, what a frustration. Because again, that was a lot of time to spend just to get 1 piece of heart. I really didn't think that it was going to take that long, to be honest with you. I would have saved that for another time. Anyway. With that, I think we can go through the Pillar of Light. 1 to beam up. Okay. Now we can go somewhere else, because I think we need another 2 pieces of heart, is that right? 1. Thank God for that. 1 more piece of heart, and then we can go and take on the next dungeon. We probably should go to the Lakebed Temple and get that piece of heart. There's actually 2 in the Lakebed Temple that I missed, I think. Ugh. I don't want to get 2 if I go there. That's the problem. I'm just gonna not. Hey! So in the Sacred Grove... Okay. There is a piece of heart when we go towards the Sacred Grove, which means that we can actually make our way to the next dungeon right now, whilst also acquiring the final piece of heart to acquire our next heart container, which is bloody good news, ladies and gentlemen. Bloody good news. No, it is not 8:30 AM where I live, because that would mean that I started at 7 AM, which is very early to be getting on the heavy Belgian beers, although I've probably been drinking gin and whiskey at 7 AM, maybe even earlier. So what am I talking about? Anyway, yeah. It is actually 11:30 AM, Mariah. I don't record that early, I can assure you. If it were 7:30 now at this time, then that would mean that I'd be recording at like 5, 4 in the morning, when it would typically be earlier than this. So, I do not record that early, because I do use natural sunlight for the most part for my recordings. When I don't, it's usually in the evenings, my time. Which I can do, it just looks a little weird. Like, for example, if you look at my recording of the Monster Hunter Rise First Impressions, where I was basically reacting to the announcement of Monster Hunter Rise, the first trailer that was released. That was recorded at like midnight. The lighting looks really weird. I've got my whiskey bottle out, I've got my whiskey glass, and I'm just sort of giving you my visceral reaction to everything that I saw in that trailer, but yeah, it looks a lot more orange, basically. But it's doable. What the hell am I doing? I am going to Talma's Bar, so that I can see the location of our next objective, which may very well be necessary before actually going there. Like, if we went there now, before looking at the map at Telma's Bar, we might not be able to progress. So that's why I'm doing it here. Let's have a gander. You say I'm too classy, but I just admitted that I do, so... Well, Jim, because I do have the intention of acquiring all pose on this save file at some point, I'm just killing whatever pose I happen to come across. So, at the moment I have 19. One more away from 20. I can't remember the reward for 20, but I'll keep it in my mind that once I hit 20, I will go and acquire whatever reward I receive for doing that. Catch you later, potato. Alrighty. Let's go and make our way to Farron Woods, where we're actually very close to our destination if we take this warp point, which is good. Means we can save a little bit of time. We don't have to go through as much of the Farron Woods location as I was expecting. I'm sort of looking forward to going through Skyward Sword through the Let's Play again, by the way. There's a part of me that wants to do it, but I don't know when the time will come. Because I have so much stuff that I'm working on. I also much prefer sitting down, by the way. It's surprisingly tiring to stand and record. You really don't realize it until you do it, but when you're used to just sitting down and recording, it's, you know, easy as sitting down. But if you're standing for like an hour, it gets a bit weird. It just doesn't feel right. Oh, I live in Sydney. Hi. But I was not born in Sydney. I was born in Queensland, actually. On the Gold Coast. I moved to Sydney when I was 5 years old. So we need to take the Golden Cock. Come on. Golden Cock, come on, get over here. A reference to Osiris, no doubt. We want to land here. We'll take the Golden Cock over here. The idea of the Golden Cock is that it actually allows us to fly much further than your typical cock. And it's also golden. Who wouldn't want a golden cock, really? Okay, so with that, it seems that we actually need to turn this manually. If I stand here and wait for it to turn on its own, I'm probably going to be standing here for a while. So with that in mind, come on! Okay. Hold on, what is that? That's a Motsu? That's not right. I thought pickup was Hiro or something like that. Motsu. Oh, it's grab. Motsu is grab, not pick up. See, I had pick up in my head, so I was thinking of Hiro. Or is it Hirote? Hiro, Hirote, something like that is to pick up. Or to acquire from a lower space than your current position, but Motsu is grab. So actually, yeah, interesting. Interesting. So it's not like, it's not a tender term, it's not a tender phrase where you're going to gently pick up the chicken. It's like, I'm going to grab the chicken. Come here, sort of thing. Which is funny. Alright, catch you later, Mikkel. Oh, Motsu is whole. I had grab in my head, I don't know why. Now that I think about it, that does make sense, Motsu. Probably is contextual though. So here we are back in this place. What I'm going to do before I head through here is I'm going to take a brief trip Yeah, Argedu would be pick it up. What I'm going to do is make my way to the bathroom, because again I have been ingesting a little bit of liquid during this recording, so I will be back in about a minute and a half or so. And then we will make our way to the Temple of Time. I'm back. Okay. It's kind of crazy to me that we are almost 2 hours into this recording and we have not yet reached the dungeon that we are supposed to be completing in this recording. I will do a spin attack on you guys, if you wouldn't mind. I mean, they would mind because they're going to die in the process, so... Don't know why I say if you wouldn't mind. It seems a bit weird to me. Stop that. I want to get that mini-map. There is no mini-map. It's because the Sacred Grove, or Lost Woods, whatever you want to call it. Do we want to go this way? Yes, we do. So at this point, we want to follow the light of the Skull Kid. Oh, I'm very gassy at the moment, do forgive me. That's what happens when you ingest too much heavy beer. You're just sitting there going, oh. Not exactly like that. Clearly I wasn't doing that before I tried to give you an impression of what it would be like, so it's not exactly like that. But it feels that way, at the very least. Okay, so if we head over here... Do we want to go here? Yes, we do. That way? No. We want to go this way, I think. No, we don't. You just need to look for the light, and if you can't find the light anywhere, it means you need to look for the Skull Kid in the area you are currently located in. Alright, he should be here. There he is. I believe we can shoot him with an arrow here, actually. Stop us. Alright, fine. Stop it. It's actually harder than it looks, quite frankly. There we go. I don't think there's a way to hit him without using arrows, so... Well, you would hope that the Master Sword would have some sort of glowing characteristic. I mean, look at the thing. It's magical. Yeah, it is a nice looking weapon. I've always enjoyed its appearance. I love how it looked in Wind Waker once you got it fully upgraded. The way the hilt opened down and the light starts to shine on the blade. Looked really cool. Ugh, camera. I'm struggling with the inverted nature of the camera again. Okay, where are you? I think you're here. I don't think you continue, or do you continue? You do continue. I'm glad I went and checked first. Saved me some time. Oh, here we go. This is where... Well, we're almost at the place where we get the piece of heart that I was talking about. Of course, we've got Saria's song playing right now. Oh, you're here. I feel like I just backtracked. This looks very similar to where I was before, but anyway, get up there. I'm assuming that the Skull Kid is here somewhere. Like, I see you. There you are. Take that. Is that straight ahead from where we are currently? I think it is. Looks to be the case, yep. They even show us that it is, which is nice of them. This is where we want to continue, I believe. Well, obviously this is where we want to continue, but what I mean is I think we had to backtrack to this place in order to get here. Which is a bit weird, but... So the piece of heart is actually here, I believe, or am I wrong? Am I in the wrong place? Oh, we'll work it out anyway. As long as we're here, we'll get there. Because we have everything that we need to acquire the piece of heart that I'm talking about. There is another piece of heart at the entrance to the Sacred Grove, not the Sacred Grove, the Temple of Time anyway, so it's not going to be the end of the world if we miss the one that's here. Long story short, we will get 2 heart containers for the next dungeon. As in 2 more from what we had at the start of the video. It's much better to snipe him like this, actually. That way we don't have to kill all of the creepy guys. Excellent. And that is the Skull Kid taken care of. And now it turns to day. I'm starting to... as I play a game like this, I become more, I guess, exposed to the Japanese language. And I realize that actually, katakana is really fucking confusing, in the sense that I don't understand when it's used. It doesn't seem to only be for foreign words, if you understand. Like, why would ke be in katakana? Like, why? Have they decided that it's not traditional Japanese, so they put it in katakana? I don't get it. It's weird to me. Anyway, because my understanding was that things like loan words and words that were clearly not Japanese would be in katakana, but I'm starting to see words that I don't recognize as being from English or even from any European language. I see them in katakana and I'm like, why? It's just bizarre to me. But I guess as long as it's more or less foreign, it'll be in katakana. I don't know. So, I think we've missed our opportunity to get that piece of heart that I was thinking of, but that's alright. Because, as I said, we will get a piece of heart at the beginning of the Sacred Grove. Why do I keep saying Sacred Grove? The beginning of the Temple of Time. Right, they put katakana on childish, stupid, weird, robotic characters. That's interesting to know. So that means katakana, at least as far as you have noticed, and you would be more of an authority on this than myself, because I have not paid much attention to written Japanese. I've really only listened to Japanese over the years, haven't so much read it. But that would be very interesting, because you have a lot of freedom of expression through kanji, but it seems even with katakana, there is a certain freedom of expression through the idea of showing katakana with certain characters, and that somehow gives you an impression of the character beyond just listening to what they say. It's also how it's written. It's really weird. It's interesting. I like it, but it does serve to confuse me a little bit when I'm trying to learn the language. Right. That's interesting. What, so it says ningen? Ningen in katakana instead of, like, human in katakana? That's interesting. Or does it say human in Japanese with katakana characters? Anyway. I don't know how to activate this, but I think I'm supposed to go to the pedestal with the Master Sword. I think if I place the sword in the pedestal again, it ends up turning back the time, or something like that. That's my understanding of it. I remember last time I was here in the HD version, I was thinking, what am I supposed to do here? Am I supposed to go to the altar? I can't think of any other way to progress, and that's what I did, and it succeeded in taking me to where I wanted to go, so... Right, so ningen in katakana, that's really weird to me, because that is in complete violation of my understanding of katakana. So, yeah, that's really interesting. It's really interesting. Okay. I feel like I've learned something today. That's good to know. Because I thought it was strictly for foreign words, non-Japanese words, but that is not true. At least in certain situations. Such as what you've described. Let's turn into a wolf, because that's going to allow us to deal with the keys more easily as well. Okay, we've got 2 more here. Oh dear. Okay, we only hit keys, fortunately. Damn it. That's not quite what I wanted. What? Oh, there's 2 more here, I see. Let's get both of you if we can. Excellent. And that's a warp point to this area. And in the HD version I had no reason to return here, but that's probably because I wasn't doing 100%. Like, I might have missed a piece of heart, for example, and I would have needed a warp point here for convenience sake, but I never came back here, so didn't need to do that. But it's good to have a warp point. I'm happy to see it. It's reassuring, because I might need to return here on this save file in the future, off camera. Well, even a second alphabet in the English language would be interesting. But it really does serve to outline the differences between English and Japanese. 2 very different languages. I'm actually going to lower the brightness of my room light, because I'm getting a little bit more natural lighting from outside. There we go. Okay, so with that, we are going to acquire the piece of heart that I was talking about, which I think is not there, but over here. I was wrong. We require the Dominion Rod to access the piece of heart that I was thinking of. Shit. Okay, so that's really frustrating. I really wanted to get the piece of heart that I had read about on Zelda Dungeon. I really want that extra heart container before we go through this dungeon. Well, capital letters are definitely different to what you would encounter in Japanese, but it's sort of, I would say capital letters are comparable to honorifics in the sense that it's not really, it's not a different alphabet, it's just a way to refer to things in a certain way. So I would say that honorifics are similar to capital letters. We don't have honorifics, we sort of do, we have Mr. and Mrs. and things like that. But they're not as commonly used as honorifics would be in Japanese, so I would say that capital letters are more in line with things like honorifics than, say, a whole different alphabet. Okay, so I need to try to work out how to get that piece of heart. I think I have a vague idea of where it is, but if I really can't find it, I will try to use Zelda Dungeon to show me where it is. I honestly thought it was in this room here. Can I find it? Here it is. Okay, it is here. So we actually require the human and wolf form to get this piece of heart, apparently. We want bombs here. What? Okay. There's a Poe here. Interesting. I thought there was a hole underneath that. Well, whatever. Oh, we can dig under there. Okay, interesting. So it gives us access to a Poe and a piece of heart simultaneously, which is amazing, really. I'm loving this. And we now have 20 Poe souls, so that means we can probably get whatever we receive from having acquired 20 Poe souls if we go to Giovanni. Get off me. Alright, where's that fucking piece of heart? Damn it. I think we need to kill all enemies in the room to acquire it. Which is a lot of work, by the way. You can die. Thank you very much. Oh, get off me, will you? Will you get off me? Anyone else? There's definitely more. I think the claw shot is very good with these guys. There we go. There we go. Anyone else? There must be more. There must be more. Oh, that's all of them. And this will give us the piece of heart that we were looking for. Excellent. So the idea is you need to be in human form to drop the bomb, and you need to be in wolf form to dig in here. So the first time you come here, because you're forced to be in wolf form, you can't actually acquire this. I mean, you probably could acquire this if you backtracked immediately to here, but I didn't do that. I warped out of here immediately, so in most cases you wouldn't get this piece of heart until you returned here for the Temple of Time. That's the point. So there you go. Well, yeah, that's right. I think it seems to be, you say it's them trying to be hip. I think what it is because with a game like this, let's look at a game like this for example. This is not a Japanese looking game. We can identify it as looking Japanese because it's the way Japanese people make games. But Link doesn't look like a Japanese guy. This is not... This is sort of a medieval setting, but in an English sense, or like European, basically non-Japanese. If you go into anything that's ancient Japan, it doesn't look like this. So the idea is, for them, having things written in English is a way to give a certain sense of authenticity to what they are depicting as like an archaic Western setting. So the reason why they can get away with that is because Japanese people, through their education, do have knowledge of certain basic English words, so they can have it written in English, and that's fine. But in my opinion, it's not to be hip, it's more specifically to link into what they're portraying with these kinds of games. I don't think they would have things like item and map written if the game looked like something from feudal Japan, for example. It's not that way. I think the Japanese have an intrinsic attachment romantically, in the same way we do, to sort of medieval Western settings. So, yeah, that's their idea of being authentic, in my opinion. Which I think is fair enough. If I were Japanese, I would feel the same way, to be honest. They wouldn't do it if the average Japanese person couldn't understand it, obviously. But because English education is just a part of the Japanese culture, basic words can be read and understood. They would probably still read it as aitemu and mappu, but they can read it and understand it, that's the point. As long as they can do that, they can get away with putting it in a video game like this. A game which, by the way, by default has furigana turned on, which means that they're expecting younger people to play it. So they are so basic, the words are so basic, even among the Japanese, that younger people are expected to understand it. Like kids, basically, under the age of 12. So, for example, Jim, I play a lot of Demon Souls, and I play the Japanese version of Demon Souls a lot as well, and most of that game is written in English. That is a Japanese game. The actual voices are all in English. Actual English voice actors did that. The reason why is because there is not a single shred of Japanese culture in that game. So the reason why they have so much English in that game is so that it feels like an authentic Western experience to the Japanese game player. So, yeah, that's the reason why they do it in a game like Demon Souls, and they also do it in a game like this because it's a Western experience. For us as Westerners, we can play this game and go, yeah, this has the Japanese touch to it. But the actual romantic, the romantic design of the game is not Japanese. It's Western. That is the concept. The raw concept. So, there you go. That's the way I look at it anyway. Seems to be logical to me. Oh goodness. We are only now 2 hours in beginning this temple. I think this is going to be a 3.5 hour long recording. I can feel it. I will do what I can to get through this dungeon as quickly as possible, but I'm not making any promises. We are opening beer number 3, which is Chimay Bleu number 2. Okay. This head is looking very controlled, look at that. I didn't even need to angle pour that one. That was just... I don't know if you see how flush that is with the rim of the glass. I'm gonna go under. You see how flush that is? It's almost under the rim of the glass. In fact, it is. It's funny. As I said, it varies with every bottle. Every bottle's different. It's because every bottle has a different degree to which it's been shaken. And, yeah. See the bottle there? As I said, I'm going to try and get through this dungeon as quickly as possible, for the reason that I have been spending a lot of time fucking around without actually making my way to the dungeon, so the sooner I can get this done, the better. Yeah, that's right. Sure. That's the way it works in my head. Alright. Drop you down on there. And that gives me access to that. So I believe what we're expected to do... Actually, no, we don't have to do that. Never mind. Had a different thing in my head. Wasn't necessary. So if we go to this side first, we can light this from memory. Whoa, we're almost out of lantern oil again. Shit. This gives us... I feel like this is a key or a dungeon map. It's actually not trivial, whatever it is. It's a key, I think. Yeah, it is. How about that? Every single time I come down here and light these torches, I'm expecting something trivial like a rupee. Actually, every time I am shown that it's really important that I actually get that fucking thing. That chest to appear. Yeah, whatever. Just get in my inventory and shut up. I never need you. Oh, well. Locked door immediately, so we would have ended up doing that anyway. Let's go and destroy these pots. Is there anything to hookshot to? Yes. The answer is yes, but that's for use on the other side of those things. What am I expected to do here? I can't claw shot to the other side of that, can I? No. So I guess we just place one of these pots on the switch. Whatever. I'm happy to do that. Right, it's that situation. Where we destroy the pot from a distance to gain access to that. Seems sensible to me. Just making sure that there's nothing important over here. I don't know what this is. Rupees, I'm assuming. Arrows, I'm happy to take those. I'm actually really happy to take those. Because I only had 10 out of 30. So now I feel a bit more comfortable with using an arrow to do what I am expected to do here. Which is destroy this pot. That is not what I wanted to do. Put that fucking thing away. Stop. Put it away. Save your oil. You don't need it now. Okay. Right. That's interesting to know. See, I never would have expected them to write Kagi in katakana, but there you go. That is so interesting that they can use that alphabet so freely. It doesn't need to be for foreign words, and it's understood that that's not the intention. It's really cool. Okay. See, that's why I was so utterly confused, because I was reading very common Japanese words in katakana, and I'm thinking, well, why is it that that's in katakana? Like, what is the requirement? It seems that, as you suggest, is to draw attention to it. There we go. So, now we can place 2 pots on either side of that door. Oh, we've got a chest here. Let's go open that. Now, we need to remember to acquire the... whatever it's called, the dungeon key? The boss key, that is. Because last time we were here, we forgot to get the dungeon key. The boss key, not the dungeon key, Doom. Boss key. We forgot to get the boss key last time we were here, which required us to backtrack, which was annoying, to say the least. So I'm going to try and not have that happen again. Okay, so we're in this main room. This is where we head further up. I remember last time we were here in the HD version, we actually had a Poe to kill that we did not kill because I was being lazy. I realized that I had missed my opportunity, and I decided, well, because I'm not doing 100% of this anyway, I won't go out of my way to get that Poe soul. This time around, I'm going to try to go out of my way to get that Poe soul. As far as how to get it, it's behind that door over there. You can see the Poe lantern. You're both dead, thank you very much, and giving me arrows, more arrows than I know what to do with. Yeah. Okay, so whatever we need to do to get that door to open, we need to remember that, because I don't want to be inconvenienced like I was in the HD version. My intention in the HD version was to get that Poe, because I thought I may as well. But then I reached a point where I was like, well, it would be too much effort to get that Poe soul right now, so I'm not going to bother. I would like to organize it so that it's not too much effort this time around. We'll see. But anyway, what I'm going to do is, again, take a visit to the bathroom. I'll be back in just a moment. I've returned. Okay. So, we do have a lot of enemies to kill over there. We want to kill all of those guys, for some reason. I can't quite remember why, but I believe it is helpful or necessary to kill them, so I will. There we go. You're dead. I'll make my way up here first, though. Let's go and get the spinner. There we go. Can't go through there yet. So I guess I'll pull this down, or push this down, I don't know. However you would say that. Maybe it's not necessary for us to do that. Nor helpful. Actually, it is necessary, because if we do want to acquire what I remember acquiring by killing all of these enemies, we would have to do it this way, because we can't get past that electricity, so we'd have to go through that elevator of sorts. By lowering it here. It's so refreshing to play this with a GameCube controller, because last time I was here I was playing with a Switch Pro, no, Wii U Pro controller, and it didn't feel quite right. This feels right. This button layout, you know. Is that all of them? No, clearly not. You are the last one. Hope you're ready to die. The last of your brethren. And that removes that. That's just a shortcut of sorts, I suppose. Just in case I need you, I'm going to take you with me. We're going to push that. Excellent. Now, we do still need a key, so we want to actually go this way. I think we want to take this with us. Maybe we were supposed to take 2 items, because I think we have 2 switches to press down over here. That's my memory of it. Ah, we have another one there, that's okay. So, even if we need 2, we do have 2 available now that we've brought this one here with us. Oku. Oku, I guess, means place. Because it wouldn't be drop. I think drop is something like oru or something like that, or... I know fall is ochiru, so... drop I think is oru, something like that. Shit, how do I get up there? Just have to carry it up there. So I think drop is oru. And... yeah. So oku, I guess, would be place. Jim would have to help me with that one. Fuck! Okay, I would have to, therefore, bring this over here, drop it down. This is really frustrating. This just adds an extra process to what I'm doing, which I would really rather not have to do. But that's alright. Whatever is necessary. Whatever, game. So we have to pull this down again, or push this down, whatever we want to say, I don't really care. But... I really do love the spinner. I think it's a really cool item. I would also like it to be used in different situations, personally. Right. Oku is to put something down or to place it in a spot. Okay. So let's go and bring you over here. Because my understanding of oku is in a phrase, which is okumade. You see, most of my understanding of Japanese is through phrases. That's where I extract most of my knowledge. So I'm very familiar with okumade for some reason, but... oh, for fuck's sake, just pick it up. Go. Go. No. Begin. I would say that most of my understanding is through extraction of phrases, which is weird, but... anyway. Oh, we want to actually not do that. We want to drop you here. There we go. That way, we can use it as something of an elevator. Otots. Otos. Interesting. Otosu. It's funny because what you say is not beyond my understanding. It's just, it reminds me of what I know. It's weird. That's probably my main issue with Japanese. It's, I guess, refamiliarizing myself with what exists in my latent memories. More than anything. At least when it comes to basic Japanese, obviously. There are many things about the language that I don't understand. Particularly basic sentence structure. But words and meanings and phrases, I'm pretty good with. It's most of what I deal with. It's funny because when I was last recording here, in this dungeon, in the HD version, the election between Trump and Biden was taking place. Like, the votes were being counted. It was like, whatever it would have been, early November. And that was funny. That was funny stuff. Because we were quite naively expecting a result very soon, but it dragged out much longer than it normally would. So, yeah, the result did not come for a few days afterwards, but... Well, we got the key here. It seems that we have explored this area as much as we wanted to. Let's get the hell out of here. It might be an anime thing, I don't know. Okumade. It seems to be sticking in my head. Okumade. Made sounds time-based. It seems related to time. That's how I would logically place that. I think Okumade means, like, in this instant. Something like that. Which somehow seems to be related to placing something in a single position. I don't know, I can't describe it, other than to say that it's some of my understanding of Japanese, because of how long I've been watching anime. This goes back to my childhood, like around 2005, 2006. Some of my understanding of Japanese words is so instinctual that it's beyond understanding. It's more like I instinctually feel that is what this means. It's kind of weird, but yeah. I think Okumade means in this instance. Or in this instant, rather, not instance. In this instant, right now. Which, there is another word for that, which is ima. Ima is now, as in the now. But Okumade, maybe that's not what it means. Okumade. I don't know, fuck. Maybe don't listen to me, I'm not sure. I can only go based on what I seem to instinctually understand, which may or may not be correct. Actually, I didn't want to stand there, I wanted to stand over this way. Oh no, it seems that was correct. That was what I was supposed to do. I'm sure that if I were to hear the definition of that phrase, which may not be a common phrase, it would somehow link up to what I'm understanding in my head. It would make sense, whatever it is. Okay, we want you to revive, or at the very least, activate. Let's hit you. The cicadas outside are making a noise that is very unusual. I haven't heard them make this noise before. I'm guessing it's thanks to the torrential rain from last night. They seem to be out of sorts. Okay, we've got a chest that we can access here, so let me actually hit this again. I want to get this chest just to make sure that it's not something important. It probably is something important. It might be like a... You never know, it could be a key. We never know. You'll look it up. My hope is that it's not nothing. I hope it's something. Because, you know, it could be a false memory. Could be something like that. I can't say for sure that it means something. But for some reason that's in my head. False memories are definitely a thing. You think you remember well, in the case of learning a language, you think you remember a phrase, but you might remember it slightly wrong. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Oh. Okay. Here we are in this area again. It feels so weird to be here because we were in such intense discussion about the Trump-Biden election at this time. Of course Biden won, but then Trump was behaving like a fucking enraged orangutan. Fucking childish fool. And didn't want to have Mr. Biden succeed him and turn the whole thing into quite a situation. All I can say is there may very well be, I'm not going to go into details about this, but there may very well be voter fraud. I don't know. But all I can say is that I don't want that dickhead to be re-elected. I don't even care about democracy at this point. Just don't get him back in. He's a fucking enraged orangutan of a man, and I'm sick of him. Democracy is a bit of a sham in concept anyway. I'm not that concerned about that dickhead being voted out, regardless of how it happens. Because if you're desperate to cling to democracy, then that's great, but I feel like most people who are in favour seem to not focus on what's wrong with it. Not that there's really a better alternative, but there are issues, so I wouldn't be so desperate to cling to it in all of its glory as they see it. Yeah. Yeah, Made, that's probably what linked it to time for me. Made is definitely time-based. I understood that. It might not... I was about to say it might not have any meaning, but just as I thought that, I'm thinking, no, that has to mean something. Oku. Manga titles and names. Yeah. Could be something from a manga title. I wouldn't put it past my memory, but definitely Made is time-based. That's why I thought that. Well, 2016 was very interesting. I remember I was hanging around at my university in 2016, just sort of sitting around. I was probably, you know, eating food and watching videos on my computer, whilst simultaneously keeping track of the election results. And when Trump actually won it, I was enthralled for the reason that I wanted chaos to ensue. I wanted everyone to be so angry and upset, and then I wanted to be entertained in that way. But when we actually got that guy, well, I shouldn't say we. It's we in the sense that it pervades the collective consciousness when a certain president is elected, that it becomes like a we, even though I myself am not American. But when Trump was the president and became the president, over a period of time it became very, very boring to see the same shit over and over again with that guy. He became too predictable, it was so annoying to see everything that he did. And at this point, I just want someone else. I just want to see some other person in power over there. It's annoying. In fact, 8 years is too long. When Obama was being re-elected, I mean, I was there on TV. I was sitting on TV watching his inauguration the first time around. And I wasn't that keen on him, to be honest, because I knew that his whole change has come to America, I knew that was just a load of bullshit at the time. This is 2008. Or the beginning of 2009 when he was inaugurated. Or maybe it was the beginning of 2008, I can't remember. But basically, I had a feeling that it was a political stunt of sorts. And so I wasn't keen on his election during his inauguration. However, by his re-election, or at least the end of his first term, I was like, can we just get someone else? I'm sick of looking at this guy. I just want to see someone different. And I guess, you know, people will have the illusion that there will be change, depending on who is president, but there will be minor change, certainly, but what is ultimately important will remain the same, because it's beyond presidential control. Anyway. Yeah, there was, well, pretty much most elections are that way. Results are very quick. But this time it was... the reason why was because of the sheer number of votes. There were more votes during the most recent election than there ever have been in the history of presidential elections in the United States. So, and that's the reason why it took so long to count them all. Where are my other weights? There are other ones around here. I hope I've got enough. This could be enough. Yeah, this seems alright. Good to see. We will need more in the future, but for now that's enough to get across. So, the boss key chest is in that room to the right of where we are now. That's where the boss key chest is. We need to remember that. That's very important. We don't want to forget that. As long as you don't forget that chest, pretty easy dungeon. Pretty easy. Not overly complicated. Hello, there's a lot of enemies here. I'm a little concerned. 2 hits and he's dead. That's what I like to see. No time to waste. No time to waste. Excellent. Oh, I didn't realize that there was something I had to climb there, so it sort of messed up my timing. There's a key right there. And yeah, that's, I don't know what it is, but for this particular dungeon, this is one of those dungeons where it's not so linear that you just automatically get the boss key, you know. You often miss it. Because once you get that Dominion Rod, you're so focused on returning to that first room, because you remember in your mind, yes, there was an area that I could reach in that first room. In fact, it's not just the first room. You're focused on taking that statue guy to the first room, because you know that if you take him to the first room, you will be able to progress. But more than that, you need to remember to get the boss key. It's so easy to forget. I think we need to hold that down, don't we? Yep, we sure do. So yeah. Drop. No. Don't want to drop you there. Drop you there. Okay, so we are almost at the mini-boss. What is pressing? Oh, I see. So that's not helpful. Let's kill these two. That'll do something for us. Ugh. Yep. Killing all of these enemies will acquire something, or will achieve something at the very least. I will acquire something through killing them, is what I should say. But, I don't quite know what it is, but just in case it's something important, I think in the HD version I had confirmed in my own mind, if I can recall back to that thought, that killing these guys is not helpful. And I would like to confirm that ultimately here. We're about to find out what it is. I had decided that it was not helpful at the time. At least I think so. Must be rupees. Yeah, so I had decided in my head that it was not a requirement to continue. What? Am I at a rupee max? It can't be. Why did I put it back? I can only hold 600? What? You guys can't quite see my rupee count, but it's only at 600. There should only be one wallet upgrade. I'm so confused. I don't even care. I'm not even that worried. Whatever. I've got the key, let's go and fight the mini-boss. As long as I can remember where to get the boss key, we'll be done with this entire place pretty quickly. Because we're already we're a bit over halfway through in terms of time that it takes to get to the boss door. Because once we get that statue, the controllable statue with the Dominion Rod, to that first room that we entered, that will already be most of the dungeon complete. So, I'm looking forward to getting that done. I like the crest on this guy's helmet. It's very extreme. I'm ready to fight you. Believe me, you are not beyond my skill level. You're just a guy with a shield. Although fighting you with the crossbow in Link's crossbow training was interesting. I would like to show you Link's crossbow training, but again, my original Wii had Link's crossbow training, and I also had the crossbow thing for use with the Wiimote, but I traded in that Wii, plus Link's crossbow training, and that particular thing for use with Link's crossbow training. So, like the gun, it's weird. It's probably good for FPS games, I wouldn't doubt that, but yeah, it was weird. Right. That's really interesting. How they use katakana in that way. Definitely has taught me something about how that alphabet works. One thing I love as well is that, like O, added onto words. Like, cipher is the word, but it's kind of common to say or cipher. Which is, the way that it works is that the O is a degree of respect for the word. It's like, there's a lot of respect aspects in the Japanese language, and adding O to things is like a respect thing. Maybe it's, rather than respect, I should say formality. There is a degree of formality to saying or cipher as opposed to cipher. And you can, as far as I'm aware, with almost any Japanese word, add O in front of it to have a higher level of formality. And I guess formality does link to respect, so it's not incorrect to refer to it as respect, but it is more accurately a respect factor. So that I find very interesting. Alright, where the hell is this thing? There you are. But that's actually that's a higher level honorific to what most people would learn. When they begin, in fact, I did Japanese in high school, we didn't even touch on that aspect of honorifics, where you add O to things. I just learned that through experience. And eventually because I was very curious as to why certain words had O added in front of them, and then I was going through a visual novel where there was a character who was learning Japanese, and they actually mentioned that, and I was like, that's so interesting, that explains everything. And because the characters in the visual novel were teaching that character how to speak Japanese, and I was like, well, that's really interesting, that in actual fact, it's sort of it's a respect / formality in the language that I had identified, but I didn't really know the true meaning of it. It was a point of confusion, but yeah, it is very interesting. So in this case, we just have to destroy this. Come on, damn it. there is no way, I believe, from this side... Oh, I know what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to use it like that. There we go. Because I had attack in my mind, so I thought I had to use my sword, but actually... no. We want to move you here. It probably is helpful to kill those small spider creatures, because they won't appear in this situation where you really don't want them to be around. There is a chest over here, but I don't... Oh, that's right, it's the rupees that apparently I can't hold, which is odd. Aha. Ow. Not quite far enough away. Come on. There we go. Now we can get through. I love this part of the dungeon. I think this is a great idea. In fact, we can destroy this right here. Not a problem. Destroy you as well. Not a problem whatsoever. Come with me, statue. And it is quite quickly, or rather, the process of going through, it's quite quickly. The process of returning through the dungeon, in places we've been before, is quite swift. Like, swift. It's a quick process is what I'm trying to say. I see. So we want to bring you over here. Yeah, the process is quick. It's not as long as getting through the dungeon before acquiring the big statue. There we go. I mean, really, we could at that point just pick it up and carry it, but whatever. We need to put you in the bell. You mean for Japanese people learning English? It must be very annoying to almost dumb yourself down. Because, yeah, English is very arbitrary by comparison. Because there is less... Well, that's a really interesting point, because I would say in English, at least creatively, you have more freedom to express. Whereas in Japanese, you have very set ways in which to express a feeling or an opinion, but it can be further elucidated through kanji, which is interesting. Now, kanji, I think, is for someone like me who doesn't really understand much Japanese, kanji is the hidden meaning of Japanese, in a sense. It's what is beyond my understanding, and I would love to learn more about what it truly means. You know, little basic things like the meaning of a person's name through kanji is interesting, but there's more to kanji than that, and I think that's very interesting. So that's one way in which English doesn't really compare to Japanese as a language, but I would say in English you have a lot of different ways to say something. Now, we want to move... Can I get you up there? Yes, I can. Let's get you up there as well. Where is the statue guy? Where is he? I don't even know where he is. Let's go and let's just focus for now on getting the boss key. That's what I want to focus on for the moment. Pull you down. It sounds like someone has been using a hose constantly for the last... I don't know how long. 20 minutes? Someone's just had a hose on constantly. I'm concerned by it. Damn it. Throw yourself up there. There we go. Can that get me up there? Can I claw shot to something? I can claw shot to you, but I don't think that takes me anywhere. Or does it? Oh, that's not quite right. That fucking hose next door, just turn it off. Okay, I'm getting not that you can hear it, but it's pissing me off. And now there's a garbage truck in the street again? Fucking hell. Alright, what's over here? Oh. Oh. That's what confused me last time. I thought we had to use the scales to get up here, but actually, no. That is not what we are supposed to do. We just use the spinner to get here. This is where the boss key is, everyone. The way a name is written in Japanese is just... I don't think there's any language that really compares to it. It is amazing. It is really amazing. And I would love to write my name in Japanese in a way that would communicate something beyond what my name would mean in English. I could just... And it's interesting, some people's names in Japanese are just written in hiragana or katakana, but for other people it's all kanji, which carries more meaning to it now. I don't know why for some people it's just written very simply, and then for others it's very specific in that specific in the sense that it has meaning in kanji, but... And for some people, you can have kanji for their name, and then you're sitting there going, what does that mean? What does that say, in fact? It's weird, but... For example, there are certain... You could theoretically have a name that most people would struggle to read in Japanese. People who had grown up with the language would struggle to read it and understand what it says, which is crazy to me. You couldn't have that in English. You couldn't have a name that people would struggle to read and understand. It's weird. And I guess it comes from multiple readings of certain words and things like that, but yeah. That's really what it comes down to. I think it's really interesting. I think the hose is on my property and I'm gonna fucking strangle whoever's constantly fucking doing whatever they're doing with the hose. I'm assuming if we place down all of these, we will be able to... Oh, that's right, I remember this. I remember this very well. Well, we want to place this here. Make our way up here. And pull you down. Or pull you up, rather. Anyway, don't do that. Pick it up. Pick it up. There we go. And that should give me access to the boss key. 20 rupees, I will accept that. Thank you. What? What's going on? Hold on, hold the phone. Have I moved something off the switch? I must have. Did I move you off the switch? What's going on? I did. I moved you off the switch. There we go. You say computers make it worse, but I feel that it's actually much easier in this day and age, I would imagine, for people to learn kanji through computers, because what they do is, when you type something in Japanese on a Japanese computer, what it does is, you type the hiragana, and it auto-selects kanji. So, if you actually retain that information, you can automatically see what kanji can be created from what you've typed in hiragana. So you have there's a certain visual connection to what you're seeing, And I think it's a real easy way to learn new kanji. As long as you know what the kanji means, beyond what you've written in hiragana, I think you can really learn a lot. So, in my opinion, computers have helped. I mean, I could be wrong, maybe I'm missing something in the equation here, but in my opinion, computers have helped people learn more kanji than they would previously, because in this case, it's actually automatically shown to them what kanji they can write with the sentence that they would normally write in hiragana, for example. So, I would say that it's actually better. Anyway, I'm going to take another trip to the bathroom. I'll be back in just a moment. So I regret to say that the stairs are being water blasted because there's too much moss on them, and with the recent torrential rain, they're getting too slippery, so there might be a little bit of background noise. I regret to say that it might interrupt the recording, but my hope is that it will not interrupt the recording too much. Okay. Now, we do need to go and get that statue thing. See how we have a bell here? We need to get that statue to that bell. So I don't know where that statue is located. Actually, I think it's... See that red dot on the minimap? I think that's where it is currently located. So if we can... maybe not. Where is it? I thought it would be here. Okay. Let's try that again. Throw you up there. So if we go here, there's a red dot when we come up here. Ah, there you are, I see. Very good. Well, I'm happy to hear that, Jim. Thank you for the feedback. When I arrived on camera and went like this, I was like, hold on, I'm going to check to see what's going on with the sound outside. And it's the sound of water blasting on the fucking stairs outside. So, that's what that is. But as long as it's not overpowering for the recording, then that's good. Okay, so we want to take this statue over here. We want to take him on the scales, and this is where we want all of those weights. Because we need to be able to take this thing across. It will be necessary for us to climb up, actually, and go to the other side to throw the weights. Most certainly, because this thing is very heavy. This thing plus our weight, not light, to put it simply. Alright, now that might be level. No, even that is not level, wow. Okay, so we want to head down over here. Ooh, that's fine. What I could do is go and pick you up. There we go. I'll take you with me, because I think you'll be lonely up there. That's what I've decided. I think it will be a lonely life up in that area. Oh, shit. Fucking pick it up. Well, it's not that he's not picking it up, it's that he keeps getting flinched out of it. Alright, go, 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 go! Holy God. Regarding computers, I saw that you had written something about toothpaste before, but I didn't fully read it, and you had retracted the message. About computers, they showed Chinese people a picture of toothpaste and other things, and they couldn't write the characters for it, since they were so used to just typing. Right. Well, that's very odd, because I don't know how Chinese people type. I thought that I actually don't know how they type things in Chinese. I've got no idea. I guess it's similar to how the Japanese do it, but I assume that... I don't even know, that's so weird to me. I would say with the Chinese, definitely something like computers would affect them more negatively, but with the Japanese, they can actually more comfortably type what they mean to type, and then also get the kanji written there for what they were typing. I don't think it affects their language so much, is what I mean to say. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Come on. So now I have to throw the weights on that side. Of course, we are trying to get this guy to the bell, and I think this is the last bell that we need to get him to. Or at least before the... It's the second last, I believe. The last one that we need to get him to, or the second last, is very easy to get through. There isn't much strategy that needs to be employed. Throw you there. Right. You can type in a similar way to Romaji. That's really interesting. I really didn't know how they would do it in Chinese. I always wondered how they would actually do it, and that makes sense. That's really interesting to know. So they type it in Hindu Arabic characters. Ah! Keep away from the fucking spider. Alright, you are going into... No, don't hit me. You're going into the bell. Go into the bell. Go into the bell. Thank you. Well, that's very interesting information, because I didn't know how the Chinese would navigate their extensive character-based language. But I guess... yeah, that makes sense. Well, the Chinese, very interestingly, do have a strange focus on Western culture. In a slightly different way to that of the Japanese. I mean, the Japanese are definitely fascinated, but they are sufficiently... Well, I shouldn't say sufficiently xenophobic. They're sufficiently... They want to maintain their culture enough to not become totally focused on the Western world. But as I understand, China is pretty into the Western culture, which is weird. I mean, I don't know why they would be, but... Well, the thing with Chinese, or we'll say Mandarin, for argument's sake, Japanese is, to my ears, by far the most beautiful Asian language. When you compare Chinese to Japanese, it's a little bit awkward, because Japanese is it's almost like water flowing in one's ears. It's lovely sounding. Chinese, on the other hand, no. No, 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 no. It is not like that at all. So, I don't mean to be offensive, it's just it doesn't sound nice, okay? So, I would want to learn Japanese as a language. I think functionally it would be useful to learn Chinese, definitely. Or Mandarin, let's say. But in terms of a nice sounding language, I definitely wouldn't be choosing Chinese, I'll tell you that much. Because that hurts my ears. In fact, I would say many of the Asian languages do not sound nice to my ears as a Westerner. Because my idea of what sounds crude is what most languages in the Asian region sound like. Like, let's take Vietnamese. Things like Vietnamese in particular is like, what is going on? If you've ever heard a Vietnamese person talk in their native language, to say that it's shocking is a bit of an understatement. It's like, you almost want to laugh, but you wouldn't because it's their actual language. You wouldn't laugh, but it's really, really different. And it's just weird. But for some reason, in the case of Japanese, it sounds so deliberate and clear. I think that's what it comes down to. It's so deliberate and clear that you can appreciate it. But in the case of something like, I don't know, Vietnamese or Chinese, it sounds like a mess to my ears. So, well, it's funny, Jim, because my grandfather was telling my father long before I was born that he should learn Chinese for that very reason. So, yeah. 30 years ago, my grandfather was telling my father, you need to learn Chinese because the Chinese are going to take over the world one day. So, there you go. As far as... Oh, I think I can take this higher up. Let's do that. Let's make sure that we don't miss our opportunity to get that Poe that I was talking about. Are we going down or up? Shit. We want to go up. Oh no. But even then, Jim, I wouldn't learn Chinese. I don't like the language, quite frankly. Well, definitely, Japan did have a lot of influence 30 years ago, technologically. But he, I don't know what it was with him. I mean, he's not a normal person. He's very, very switched on, that guy. My grandfather. You're right. It was through their technology. I mean, it really was. I mean, their electronics were on a level that we couldn't really compete with. So, it was understandable that one would think that, but this was beyond things like technological advancement. This was something else. I don't quite know what it was, because I don't focus on that, but well, let's try to kill these things if we can. I don't want to be hit by it myself. Here we go. I'm hitting myself with it now. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. There we go. Alright. Ow. Well, I guess we have to do this now, don't we? We actually have to kill these things. But what I'm going to do is, because I don't want to take the time to control the big giant to do it, I'm going to keep it simple and I'm going to attack them manually, just like this. This should be easier. I'm hoping. Kill it! This big abdomened fucking spider creature. I call them spiders because I decide they look arachnid-esque. That's my decision. You can die. And that should do it. That's right, that's what we have to do. So to gain access to that Poe, we must destroy the thing that's barring our access to it using our friend, the giant statue thing. So what I had done in the HD version was I sent the statue into the bell before accessing the Poe. This time around, I have remembered that actually, we don't want to be doing that. Okay. Well, with the understanding that we are now in the 2020s, my grandfather was probably talking about that 40 years ago, as opposed to 30 years ago. Which is frightening. Because I think my dad told me that when he was, you know, just coming into his teenage years, his father was telling him, learn Chinese, damn it. Which is fine. Very fun. Because that was 1980, 1981, around that time. And I wish I was there to experience that time of history, but I was not. I know a lot about that time in history, but I didn't personally experience it. So, yeah. Let's drop down. Okay, so where is that? There you are. I call them giant statues. I don't know what else to call them, to be honest. Maybe they're guardian statues or something like that, but I call them giant statues, I guess. Your mother confuses Chinese and Japanese all the time. Well, this is the problem. Like, I understand why one would confuse them both, but the way in which you visually discern between the two is that the sentence that has very complicated characters broken up by less complicated characters that don't have circles in them is Japanese. The ones that have circles in them are Korean. And then the stuff that doesn't look like either of those things, that is clearly not Chinese, is some other shit. Like, I don't know, Vietnamese or something. I don't know. There's a lot of different Asian cultures, but the point is that, yeah. I keep saying Vietnamese because I have to stress that that is probably the most ridiculous sounding Asian language. That language is just, wow. At a previous job that I worked at, a Filipino chef did a beautiful Vietnamese impression, and I was doubled over in laughter because of how accurate it was. Because the thing is, the beauty of the Vietnamese language is that when you do an impersonation of it, or an impression of it, it sounds so incredibly offensive and extreme. But that's how they sound. So, it's one of those things. Hello Tron, what the hell are you doing here? Isn't this very late for you? What's going on? Well, I welcome you either way. We are almost done with the Temple of Time. I don't know what you were expecting with /me, but that does not work, evidently. Japanese, Chinese, everything. Well, there you go. So she thinks even culturally they are fairly similar, or at least in her own mind. Ow. Ow. You're working mornings now, I see. Well, I'm usually not recording this late. The only reason why I'm recording at this time is because this has been a fairly long recording. We are 3 hours and 12 minutes in. How do I open this? Oh, I see. Come on. Drop on down. Oh dear. Now we want to stand on this side and use the Dominion Rod. Not that. The Dominion Rod, please. You can drop down there. And now we have access to the boss room. Can we please have a ferry? It is often quite a lot to ask of this game to get a ferry before a boss fight. There we go. Alright. We didn't even end up using that suit. Shockingly. There's a ferry. We've got no problems going up against this boss, I'll tell you what. Arrows? Excellent. I need arrows because this is the Armagoma boss. There is a way to throw. Yeah, not good. There is a way to throw, but you might have missed the written thing. Either way. Time to fight Armagoma. He is a fairly easy boss. As long as you understand how to do it, it's very easy. It can be a little tricky to work out how to do it, admittedly. Oh my god, giant spider. This is the difference between Ocarina of Time Goma and Armagoma. Armagoma is actually a fucking spider. Creepy, and then it moves its legs like it's actually a fucking disturbing spider thing. And the music is great too. Enjoy the music, if you would. It's perfect for a spider confrontation. And then we want to activate you. There we go. Those giant things will smash the spider for us. Gross, look at its legs. Can you not see how gross that is? Very high level for the time, by the way, in terms of graphics. Oh god, keep away. These things need to stay away from me. Once I identify that you have stayed in one place, I'm gonna hit you. There we go. There we go. The children of Goma in this particular boss fight are really annoying to deal with. I will not doubt that compared to the Ocarina of Time fight, this is more annoying and difficult, but where are you, Goma? You are laying more fucking eggs. I don't want to deal with this, you know. Oh shit, okay. Burn them, burn them! Kill them, burn them all, yes. Perfect, burn your children for me. This is just delightful. I must have been lucky in the HD version because I actually quite easily succeeded. I succeeded in aiming for the eye of the spider, even though I was being assaulted by these things. Got him. Got her, rather. This is the last one, I think. Excellent. Nice work. Spider unboxing. Epic sheath. Oh. That's right. This is the last part of the fight. I forgot about this. Gross. And then Link is just standing right next to him in the cutscene, even though I was sniping it from the distance. Whatever. As if I would go in there with a sword. Why would I waste the time? It's much easier to snipe it. There's a Mirashan. Oh. I don't know what you have to say about it, Midna, but I miss being able to read what you say to me. Because you are what makes Twilight Princess the best 3D Zelda game. I just said it. Twilight Princess is the best 3D Zelda game. I love Majora's Mask. It's easily the second best, but this is the best 3D Zelda. Sorry. If you don't agree, then you're welcome to disagree. But this is the one. Okay. We are 3 hours and 20 minutes in. No. Yeah. I have to get a fucking heart container if you wouldn't mind, Binder. Okay. And with that, we can go back. So when we return to the first room of this dungeon, we have a heart piece to acquire immediately through the use of the Dominion Rod. Yes, I would like to save. That's a great idea, actually. We'll have 3 more heart containers than when we last saved. Excellent. That's what I like to see. There is a moment in which the Dominion Rod will stop being effective, but as long as we stay here, it should be usable. So I will go over here. The heart piece is on the left side. Actually, did I get that thing? I think I got it, but maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't. No, I didn't. That's a female snail. Oh no, I have acquired it. Excuse me. Excuse me. I had a feeling that I had acquired it, but I wasn't entirely sure. Okay. Piece of art is right here. There we go. I remember that from the HD version. Had it not been for my previous playthrough with the HD version, I would not have remembered that, I can assure you. My memory is not that fucking good. Well, I guess that's fair. If you had to choose a Zelda game to play for the rest of your life, it would be Breath of the Wild. I guess there would be more to enjoy there. But even then, I don't think it would be that much more to enjoy. Because you have to remember, much of Breath of the Wild just sort of looks like more of the same. So it wouldn't be that much more than this. I would say Breath of the Wild gives the illusion there is more in the game than, say, Twilight Princess, but really there isn't, to be completely honest. So... yeah. Shut up! I don't care about you. You damn creepy bird things. What do you have to say? Even in Japanese, Midna is quite funny. I would say that being able to read what Midna says in Japanese with full understanding of all the, I suppose, intricacies of her meaning, of her meanings as she talks, would be one of the first things that I would want to use with a fluent understanding of Japanese. So, there you go. With that, guys, I think I'm done with this recording. I have taken care of the Temple of Time, and we have also acquired 2 additional heart containers on top of the one that we received from the previous boss fight. I will, in the next video, make my way to the Sky Temple, or the City in the Sky, and I will also complete the City in the Sky. And then, in the recording following, I will complete the Twilight Realm, plus the final boss fight with Ganondorf. So in other words, we should be done by part 8 of this series. So we're currently in part 5, the next part will be part 6, and then again in part 7 we should be done with the Japanese GameCube recording series of Zelda Twilight Princess livestream playthrough. I thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time. Hope you enjoyed this one. Catch you all later.